8 out of 65, and I just turned my mic on. That's cool. You have one security group associated with 10 on-demand EC2 instances. You then modify the security group to allow all inbound SSH traffic, and then right after that, you created 2 new EC2 instances in the same security group. When will the changes be applied? Ooh. I don't believe in this new instance shit. It's immediate. The company that you are working for has a highly available architecture consisting of an elastic load balancer and several EC2 instances configured with autoscaling and 3 AZs. You want to monitor your EC2 instances based on particular metric, which is not readily available in CloudWatch. Disk reads activity. You are leading a software dev team which uses serverless computing with AWS Lambda to build and run applications without having to set up managed servers. Oh my god, shut up. Play this. You have a Lambda function that, you're leading software dev team that uses serverless computing with AWS Lambda to build and run applications without having to set up or manage servers. You have a Lambda function that connects to a MongoDB Atlas, which is a popular database as a service platform, and also uses third-party API. I can't do it. I need my music. There we go. Here we go again. You are leading a software development team which uses serverless computing with AWS Lambda to build and run applications without having to set up or manage servers. You have a Lambda function that connects to MongoDB Atlas, which is a popular database as a service platform, and also uses a third-party API to fetch certain data for your app. You instructed one of your junior devs to create the environment variables for the MongoDB database hostname, username, and password, as well as API credentials that will be used by Lambda function for dev, test, whatever prod environments. Considering that the Lambda function is storing sensitive database and API credentials, how can you secure the information to prevent the other developers in your team or anyone from seeing these credentials? Lambdas have environments. There's no need to do anything. By default, Lambda already encrypts the environment variables using... That would be cool. Enable SSL encryption that leverages... No. AWS Lambda does not provide encryption on Lambda. Deploy your code to use create a new KMS key and use it to enable encryption helpers that leverage AWS key management to store and encrypt the sensitive. I don't think Lambda encrypts environment variables. I'm going to double check that. Lambda environment variables. Yeah, you gotta do encryption. Create a new KMS key and use it to enable encryption helpers that leverage on AWS key management service to store and encrypt the sensitive information. I guess that's their only choice. In your AWS VPC, you need to add a new subnet that allows you to host a total of 20 EC2 instances. Which of the following IPv4 CIDR blocks use? I think it's the 28. And 28 should be 24 total. CIDR block table. 28 should be 24 total. 28. Oh, 16. Ooh. Not gonna work. You need at least 32. That'll be 29. 27, I'm gonna have to remember. 27 is 8, 28 is 16, and 29 is 32. The funny thing is I learned that 4 of these addresses are already reserved for certain things, DNS and all these other things. Alright. I mean, you can use this, right? I don't know why you'd care. I'll do 29 though. Traffic monitoring and reporting application uses Kinesis, picks up real-time data. In order to process and store the data, they use Amazon Kinesis Data Firehose to load the streaming data to various AWS resources. Which of the following services can you load streaming data onto? I mean, Athena? I don't know, maybe, I don't know what S3 Select is. The Redshift Spectrum. You are managing a suite of applications on your on-prem network, which are using trusted IP addresses that your partners and customers have whitelisted in their firewalls. There is a requirement to migrate these applications to AWS without requiring your partners and customers to change their IP address whitelists. Which of the following is the most suitable solution to properly migrate your apps? Yeah, why would you want to map the whitelist IP address range in your on-prem network? I don't like elastic IPs. Set up IP match condition using CloudFront web distribution and AWS WAF to whitelist a specific IP range in your VPC. Create a route origin authorization. Then once done, provision and advertise your whitelisted IP range to your AWS account. Submit a request form to migrate the IP address range that you own to your AWS account. I mean, I think it's not that easy. Route origin authorization. I need to look that up. Cryptographic sign object that states which autonomous system is authorized to originate a certain prefix. This means I like this. If I didn't know what I was doing, which I don't care about the elastic IP addresses. That's not what I think was the truth in this. The IP match condition, CloudFront, web. I mean, no, you don't have the IPs yet. I think you need to migrate the IPs, but I don't know if that's the same as this. Route origin authorization, because I've heard about these, whatever ANS is. Oh, autonomous system. That's probably the right answer, but I'm gonna go with this because this will be my second best. So 13 should be C. 3. I chose 4. Next. Choose 2. There was an incident in your production environment where user data stored in S3 bucket has been accidentally deleted by one of the junior devs. The issue was escalated to your manager. After a few days, you were instructed to improve the security and protection. What can you do? You can enable versioning, multi-factor delete. What combination of the following options will protect S3 buckets in your bucket from both accidental deletion and overwriting? You have a web application deployed in AWS which is currently running on EU Central 1 region. You have an auto-scaling group of on-demand EC2 instances which are using pre-built AMIs. Your manager instructed you to implement disaster recovery DR for your system. So that in the event that the application goes down on one, the new instance will be started on West. The whole region goes down. Should just do more. Which of the following should you take into consideration? Okay. The name of my dashboard, add the West 2 region to the network access control list, which contains the regions that are allowed to use AMI. I don't think. Did you make pre-built? Oh, we're using our own pre-built AMIs. I think you're gonna have to copy it over. Alright, your manager instructed you to implement disaster recovery for your system. The event application goes down and the new should be started. I'm just gonna say this. You gotta copy it over. I don't know about this. Yeah. Anyway. A popular mobile game uses CloudFront, Lambda, and DynamoDB for its backend. The player data is persisted on a DynamoDB table, and the static assets are distributed by CloudFront. However, there's a lot of complaints that saving and retrieving player information is taking a lot of time. To improve the game's performance, which service can use DAX? You have launched a new enterprise application with a web server and a database. You're using a large EC2 instance with one 500 gigabit EBS volume, gigabyte EBS volume to host a relational database. Upon checking the performance, it shows that write throughput to the database needs to be improved. Which of the following is the most suitable configuration have you achieved this? So, I have a large instance with the 500 gigs of block storage. What can I do to write better? Upon checking, it shows that write throughput to the database. Oh, it's running on there. Okay. Might need more memory. Placement group. I could choose 2. I don't know if I can increase. I don't know if that's. I need to mine them cryptos. Let's have Warren. If I had to guess, I'm gonna pick one of these like RAID configurations, like the RAID 0. Or increase the size of these 2 instances, even though I might get hit with the whole like, oh, large these 2 instances is the largest you can get. But who knows? In a government agency that you are working for, you have been assigned to put confidential tax documents on AWS Cloud. Too loud. In a government agency that you are working for. Alright, this is my song. In a government agency that you're working for, you have been assigned to put confidential tax documents on AWS Cloud. However, there's a concern for security perspective on what can be put on AWS. What are the features in AWS that can ensure data security for your confidential documents? So many things. Oh, you choose to? Public data set volume encryption. Oh my god. You're working for a large pharmaceutical company that has resources hosted on both their on-premise network and in AWS Cloud. Okay. They want all their software architects to access resources on both environments using their on-prem credentials, which are stored in an Active Directory. In this scenario, which of the following can be useful? SAML. I don't know what web identity is. Web Identity Federation. That might be it. I don't know, we'll see. You're a solutions architect working for a major telecommunications company in Europe. You deployed an on-demand EC2 instance that is transferring large amounts of data to the Amazon S3 bucket in the same region. Your manager is worried about infrastructure costs considering the vast amounts of data being transferred to the bucket. Well, what do you say to justify this architecture? You deployed an on-demand EC2 instance that is transferring large amounts of data to Amazon S3 bucket? You are only using on-demand EC2 instances, which is exactly the same price as a spot you launched by a persistent spot request. Transferring data from an EC2 instance to S3 bucket in the same region has no cost at all. I don't know that. Transferring data from an EC2 instance to S3 bucket in the same region has 50% discount. You're only using on-demand EC2 instances, so the cost will be lower than a spot instance? I don't know. I don't know if there's even a... That sounds too good to be true. They transferring data from... There's no way they're not charging money for that. Let's just say it's no cost at all, even though it might be 50. A telecommunications company is planning to give AWS console access to devs. Company policy mandates the use of identity federation and role-based access control. Currently, the roles are already assigned using groups in Active Directory. In this scenario, what combination of the following services can provide developers with access to AWS console? The thing is, if this exists, how new is it? Because why would you use Azure then? They already have the roles. I don't know why I need to even click this, unless one of these is not real. I think it's this, Directory Service AD connector, and then IAM role, or both of these ADs. I guess we'll see. You're tasked to host a web app in a new VPC with private and public subnets. In order to do this, you will need to deploy a new MySQL database server and a fleet of EC2 instances to host the application. Which subnet should you launch the new database server into? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? An application that records weather data every minute is deployed in a fleet of spot EC2 instances and uses MySQL RDS database instance. Currently, there is only one RDS instance running in one availability zone. One per zone. You plan to improve the database to ensure high availability by synchronous data replication to another RDS instance. Which of the following performs synchronous data replication RDS? Which of the following performs synchronous data replication in RDS? Currently, there is only one RDS instance running in one availability zone. You plan to improve the database to ensure high availability by synchronous data replication to another RDS instance. I don't care about the spot instances. They use MySQL RDS database instance.
Let's jam it.
I mean, I would just say this because this would imply better performance. But this one would give you better availability for multiple zones. This has nothing to do with any of that. Okay, I don't know about the CloudFront either. That sounds dumb. Ephemeral 1. You're a newly hired solutions architect and a leading utilities provider, which is in the process of migrating their applications to AWS. You created an EBS-backed EC2 instance with Ephemeral 0 and Ephemeral 1 instance store volumes attached to host a web app that fetches and stores data from a web API service. You created one EBS-backed instance with Ephemeral 0 and Ephemeral 1 instance store volumes attached. Host a web app that fetches and stores data from a web API service. If this instance is stopped, what will happen to the data on the... I think it's gone. You created an EBS-backed EC2 instance. I think it's gone. If you restart it, what does it say? What will happen if the instance is stopped? It's stopped. That doesn't mean anything. Data is unavailable until the instance is restarted. Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, I don't agree with these. I don't think it's deleted because you're not terminating the instance, you're stopping it, which is a different thing. An online cryptocurrency exchange platform is hosted in AWS. Which one? Which uses ECS cluster and RDS and multi-AZ deployment config. The application is heavily using the RDS instance to process complex read and write database operations to maintain the reliability, availability, and performance. It's everything. Of your systems, you have to closely monitor how the different processor threads on a DB instance uses CPU, including the percentage of the CPU bandwidth and total memory consumed by each process. Which of the following is the most suitable solution to properly monitor my database? Use Amazon CloudWatch. Use Amazon CloudWatch to monitor CPU utilization. Create a script that collects and publishes custom metrics, to CloudWatch, which tracks the real-time CPU utilization of RDS instance, and then set up a CloudWatch dashboard to view metrics. That'll be nice, but enable enhanced monitoring RDS. Check the CPU percent and mem% metrics, which are already available in Amazon RDS console that shows the percentage of the CPU bandwidth and total memory consumed by each database. I mean, you need to maintain reliability, availability, and performance in the systems. You have to closely monitor the different processes or threads on a DB instance. Oh. Yeah, you have to closely monitor how different processor threads on a DB instance use the CPU. Yeah. This shows the percentage of CPU bandwidth and total memory consumed by each database process of your RDS instance. I don't know if this is something built in, something as low level as processes and threads. I think you have to literally create your own custom metrics for this. But otherwise I would choose this. 25, probably 4, but I chose 2. You are a solutions architect for a leading enterprise resource planning solutions provider, and you are instructed to design and set up the architecture of your ERP application at AWS. Your manager instructed you to avoid using fully managed AWS services and instead only use specific services, which allows you to access the underlying operating system for the resource. This is to allow the company to have a much better control of the underlying resources that their systems are using on AWS Cloud. Which of the following services should you use to satisfy this requirement? I can only choose 2. I'm gonna say EMR and EC2. And the VPC that you're managing has one EC2 instance that has its data stored in an instance store. The instance was shut down by a second level support staff for the weekend to save costs. Instance store. When you arrive in the office on the next Monday, you notice that all the data are lost and no longer available on the EC2 instance. What might be the cause of this? The EC2 instance was using an instance store, hence the data will be erased when the instance is stopped or terminated. The EC2 instance was using EBS back root volumes, hence the data will be erased. AWS automatically erased the data due to virus found, or it's been hacked. At least this one's the best one. I never heard of an instance store, and I never heard of stuff disappearing when you stopped it. So I guess the special case in this kind of storage option of instance store is when you stop it, you can lose your data. But this is the first time I'm coming across something like this, so I'd have to put it in the notes. At the same time, I need to like open up my old notes. Documents, media docs, AWS. Where the fuck did I? More notes. If 27 correct, note. Instance store deletes when instance stopped or terminated. You have a requirement to make sure that an on-demand EC2 instance can only be accessed from this IP address via SSH connection. Which of the following will satisfy the requirement? I don't know what SSH is on, but I guess TCP. I need that cider table.
My world just keeps on spinning and I can't find the floor. I gave up all my happy endings to chase this life of core. And I just can't seem to be friends with anybody anymore. I can't even trust myself around you. That's why this liquor's poured. But whenever you call me, I'll be there. And I know that you don't like what I've been doing. I just hope you understand I'm only human.
32, I guess.
Don't be scared. 'Cause you've been there to help me through.
It's 32.
Gotta understand we're only human.
And I don't know. This is my guess. There are many clients complaining that the online trading application of investment bank is always down. Your manager instructed you to redesign the architecture of the application to prevent the unnecessary service interruptions. To ensure high availability, you set up the application using ELB to distribute incoming requests across an auto-scaled group of EC2 instances in 2 single availability zones. In this scenario, what happens when the EC2 instance behind the ELB fails a health check? You kidding me? The EC2 instance is replaced automatically by the ELB? I don't know if the EC2 instance is allowed to to be messed with the ELB. I'm gonna say it's not, and it just stops sending traffic. The tech company that you're working for has undertaken a total cost of ownership analysis, evaluating the use of Amazon S3 versus acquiring more storage hardware. The result was that all 1,200 employees will be granted access to use Amazon S3 for storage of their personal documents. Which of the following will you need to consider so that you can set up a solution that incorporates single sign-on feature from your corporate AD or LDAP directory and also restricts access for each individual user to a designated user folder in the bucket.
Wish we didn't have to get up. Wish I had one more night. I can't.
This would be the nicest, but some people would go down the route of making the 1200 users. That doesn't tell you anything. Single sign-in feature in a corporate blah blah directory and also restrict access for each individual user to a designated user folder. Oh, choose two. I mean, I like these two. These sound good. I just don't know why we don't do this. You have a web app hosted on EC2 that consumes messages from SQSQ and is integrated with SNS to send out an email to you once the process is complete. You have received 5 orders, but after a few hours you saw more than 20 email notifications in your inbox. Which of the following could be the possible culprit? You're reading too much off the queue. It's set for long polling, so messages are being sent twice. Your application is not deleting messages in the SQ after it's processed them. The web application is set to short polling, so some messages are not being picked up. The web application does not have permission to consume messages in the SQSQ. You have a web app hosted in EC2 that consumes messages. I'm gonna say this web app is not deleting messages. I don't know if that's right though. Companies using Redshift for its online analytical processing OLAP application, which processes complex queries against large data sets. There is a requirement in which you have to define the number of query queues that are available and how queries are routed to those queues for processing. Which of the following will use to meet this requirement? There's a requirement. You have to define the number of query queues that are available and how queries are routed to those queues for processing. Not possible Redshift because it's not intended for OLAP application, but rather for OLTP. Use the RDS database. Create a Lambda function that can accept a number of query queues. Workload management. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not possible. This might be it. I've never heard of it, but it's probably it. Solutions Architect. A Solutions Architect is working for a company that has multiple VPCs in various AWS regions. The architect is assigned to set up a logging system which will track all the changes made to their AWS resources in all regions, including configurations made in IAM, CloudFront, AWS WAF, and Route 53 in order to pass the compliance requirements. The solution must ensure the security, integrity, and durability of the log data. It should also provide an event history of all API calls made in AWS Management Console and AWS CLI. Which of the following solutions is best fit for this scenario? Set up a cloud trail in a new S3 bucket using the AWS CLI, and also path both the is multi-region trail and include global service events parameters, and encrypt log files using KMS encryption. I don't know if that's a good idea. Apply MFA, delete on the bucket, ensure that only authorized users can access the logs. The integrity of the data. Set up a CloudWatch trail in the bucket. Passing is okay. Apply MFA delete on the bucket and ensure that only authorized users can access the logs by configuring bucket policies. These are both the same. Am I missing something? Apply MFA, delete on the S3 bucket, and ensure that only authorized users can access the logs by configuring the bucket policies. I'm being trolled. Alright. Okay, set up a CloudWatch trail in the new S3 bucket. Also pass is multi-region trail. CloudWatch blah blah blah, pass the parameter, encrypt the log files. Oh, that says CloudWatch. No. I'm so blind. I'm just gonna save this. My eyes. You're working as a solutions architect for a major telecommunications company again, where you are assigned to improve the security of your database tier by tightly managing the data flow of your Amazon Redshift cluster. One of the requirements is to use VPC flow logs to monitor all the copy and unload traffic of your Redshift cluster that moves in and out of your VPC. Which of the following is the most suitable solution to implement the scenario? Why can't you just do that? Just create a new flow logs are for network traffic. VPC flow logs to monitor all the copy and unload traffic of your Redshift cluster that moves in and out of your VPC. I would just say this because I don't know. A content management system is hosted on the fleet of auto-scaled on-demand EC2 instances which use Amazon Aurora as its database. Currently, the system stores the file documents that the users upload in one of the attached EVS volumes. Your manager noticed that the system performance is quite slow and has instructed you to improve the architecture of the system. In this scenario, what would you do to implement a scalable, high-throughput POSIX compliant file system? Create your bucket uses as storage for the CMS. Why would they use it? The users uploaded on one of the attached EVS. Why? I like this, but it's not. I wouldn't do this. I don't even know if it's possible. But why wouldn't you just use the S3 bucket for the CMS? Like,
you things you ain't never seen before. Slip out of this Dior, leave it on the floor. What's one drink to a couple more? What's the morning if you're out till 4? Baby, let me show you a new perspective. Inside your mind, I can be a new objective. Pay close attention.
We need to rerun this one. We'll just choose this for now. You are an AWS Solutions Architect. I would have chosen this too. 35. Probably 3 chose 1. You are an AWS Solutions Architect designing an online analytics application that uses Redshift cluster again for its data warehouse, which service will allow you to monitor all API calls to your Redshift instance and can also provide secure data for auditing and compliance purposes. I'm gonna have to look it up already. Spectrums for S3. Resides on dedicated Amazon Redshift service that are independent of your cluster. Again.
Let me take you places you ain't never been. Fly you up to heaven first class, tell me when. What's love without a little sin? What's juice without a little gin? Baby, let me move you in a new direction. We're talking body, let me throw you some affection.
I don't know if X-ray is only for... I don't know if X-ray is only for lambdas, so if it... So in this case, if it's just for like figuring out how data is going through, like how fast and stuff, X-ray. The popular social network is hosted in AWS and using DynamoDB table as its database. There is a requirement to implement a follow feature where users can subscribe to certain updates made by a particular user and be notified via email. Which of the following is the most suitable solution? Wow. This is an interesting problem, but Streams is nice. Using the Kinesis client library, write an application that leverages... No, we're not doing that. We're going to create Lambda functions that uses DynamoDB Streams Kinesis adapter, which will fetch data from DynamoDB Streams endpoint, set up an SNS topic that will notify the subscribers via email when there is an update made by... But why Kinesis? Why Kinesis? Because you can subscribe. I like this answer too. I don't know what the Kinesis adapter is going to help with, but I would just create a Lambda that's listening to the DynamoDB stream. And if it gets that follow data, if you click follow, it will probably subscribe to that topic. The data from the stream record will be processed by the Lambda function, which will then publish a message to SS topic that will notify the script. I like that one. But it could be these Kinesis ones. Who knows? A media company that has an Amazon EC2 cluster which uses Fargate launch type to host this news website, the database credentials. A media company has an Amazon ECS cluster which uses Fargate launch type to host this new website. The database credentials should be supplied using environment variables to comply with strict security compliance. As a solutions architect, you have to ensure that the credentials are secure and they cannot be viewed in plain text on the cluster itself. Which of the following is the most suitable solution in this scenario that you can implement with minimal effort? Does Docker have secrets? I guess it does.
I'm just scared of staying the same, slowly starting to fade away.
The database credentials need to be supplied using environment vars. Right, in the ECS task definition file on the ECS cluster store, that'll be cool. Store the database credentials using Docker secrets. To centrally manage the sensitive data and securely transmit to only those containers that need access to it. Secrets are encrypted during transit and at rest. A given secret is only accessible to those services which have been granted explicit access via IAM roles, and only while the service tasks are running. I like this. Use the AWS Secrets Manager to store the database credentials and then encrypt them using AWS KMS. Create a resource-based policy for your Amazon EC2 or ECS task execution role. and reference it with your task definition, which allows access to both KMS and AWS Secrets Manager. Within your container definition, specify secrets with the name of the environment variable to set in the container and a full ORN of Secrets Manager secret, which contains the sensitive data to present. That sounds crazy. I don't believe it. Use the AWS Systems Manager parameter store. Systems Manager parameter store. I just think it would be as easy as using like Docker secrets. Like what? Yeah, I'm just gonna click next. I'm not even gonna deal with it. A cryptocurrency trading platform is using an API built on AWS Lambda and Gateway. Due to the recent news and rumors about upcoming price surge of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies, it's expected that the trading platform would have a significant increase in site visitors and new users in the coming days ahead. In this scenario, how can you protect the backend system of the platform from traffic spikes? What? That would be really cool, actually. I mean, this one's probably the right answer. Because this one sounds cool and easy, but this one's cool and easy too, so. I don't know if you can throttle an API gateway, but I think you can cache results. We'll see what happens. 39, chose 2. Probably 3. CloudFront enabling. You're working as a solutions architect in a top software development company in Silicon Valley. The company has multiple applications hosted in their VPC. While you're monitoring the system, you notice that multiple port scans are coming in from a specific IP address block, which are trying to connect to several AWS resources inside your VPC. The internal security team has requested that all offending IP addresses be denied for the next 24 hours for security purposes. Which of the following is the best method to quickly and temporarily deny access to specified IP address range? I would definitely try to do the NACL one rather than security groups, but it might be that, we'll see. Your cloud architecture is composed of Linux and Windows EC2 instances which process high volumes of financial data 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To ensure high availability of your systems, you are required to monitor the memory and disk utilization of all your instances. Okay. Enable the enhanced monitoring option. EC2 install CloudWatch agent. All EC2 instances use Amazon Inspector. You don't have to do anything. Use the default configuration. Install. I don't think you need to install anything. I have to look this one up. What was it? CloudWatch EC2. It's by default. Ooh. Why do you don't need the agent? What's the point? It's by default. I'm so confused. Why? I'm just gonna choose the default. You're working for a software company that has moved a legacy app from an on-premise data center to the cloud. The legacy app requires a static IP address hard-coded into the backend. Okay, which blocks you from using ALB. Which steps would you take to apply high availability and fault tolerance to the application without ELB? Without an ELB. What a dick. An NLB. That's what I would say. You're working for a company that moved this legacy application from on-prem data center to the cloud. The legacy app requires static IP address hard-coded into the backend, which blocks you from using ALB. Without an ELB, why can't we just use an ELB then? I don't need the games. I need your games, Warren. But no, this doesn't make sense. Usually if you want something behind an ALB...
ELB?
Warren, no. Usually if you want something behind an ALB without the IP address changing all the time, you just put an NLB in front of it. Launched an instance of auto scaling. Use CloudFront with a custom origin pointed elastic IP. Write a script that checks. So nothing. The legacy application requires a static IP address hard-coded into the backend, which blocks you from using. I'm gonna say this. My brain's not working, so I'm just gonna pick those two. A web application is using CloudFront to distribute their images, videos, and other static content stored in the S3 bucket to its users around the world. The company has recently introduced a new member-only access to some of its high-quality media files. There's a requirement to provide access to multiple private media files only to their paying subscribers without having to change their current URLs. Which of the following the most suitable solution that you should implement to satisfy this?
Is it 1 or 4? Or am I wrong?
I don't know, man. I haven't even read it fully. I'm trying to understand. The company has recently introduced a new member only. The way I'm understanding it right now is that you're paying and you want the high quality porn, right? So, but you don't want to change the link to the the link. So, I think it has to be something in CloudFront. Yeah, something in CloudFront, which is
that's what I'm saying.
The CDN. Which I thought was the most suitable option. I didn't read it yet. Configure your CloudFront distribution to use field level encryption to protect your private data. Oh, no. Use signed cookies to control who can access the private files in your CloudFront distribution by modifying your application to determine whether users should have access to your content. Remember, send the required secret headers to the viewer, which will unlock the content only to them. Configure the CloudFront distribution to match viewer's origin policy.
So when you're signed in, you get signed cookies, right? Like that's how it works.
This will allow access to private content if the request is paying member. I don't like number one because it's saying use a match viewer for origin protocol policy. That doesn't change anything. Like if it's a different user's request, like you don't know the level of the user, but you can store that stuff. Assign cookie control who can access private files. Like if they're logged in, you could probably set in the cookie signed, right? And then
because you're signed in,
yeah,
as a member,
and then it'll check. Yeah.
Same URL because it's based on your cookies, not like.
Or the application could try to request that resource based on your cookie, and then like if you don't have your permissions in the cookie, then yeah, I think that's the cookie thing.
So man, it's like when you're watching porn and you try to play the video, but it doesn't play because you're not signed in.
Yeah,
same URL. It's just
CloudFront. You have triggered the creation of a snapshot of your EBS volume, and it is currently ongoing. At this point, what are the things the EBS volume can or cannot do? The volume can be used as normal while a snapshot is in progress. The volume can be used in write-only mode. The volume can be used in read-only mode, and the volume cannot be used until the snapshot completes. I think it's gonna be normal. Like I'm not even like I don't know anything about this. I'm just gonna say you can use it as normal, even with a snapshot that's happening. Who cares?
Warren, you want me to install this malware on my computer called Epic Games Launcher?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
A startup based in Australia is deploying a new 2-tier web app in AWS. The Australian company wants to store their most frequently used data in an in-memory data store to improve the retrieval and response time of their web app. These questions on this practice exam are easier than the other ones, I think. Something that's in memory? What kind of joke is this? Elasticache. Hey.
Yeah.
You were designing a I'm gonna go back. Which of the following is the most suitable service to use for this? I'm gonna have to say fucking Elasticache. RDS.
Wait, what's the RDS again?
I can't remember if RDS is the same as RDB, but I'm thinking it is.
The fact that they're saying Australian company,
it's a joke.
It makes no sense. Why is that just there? Like for what reason? Just a joke.
Just fucking with you. So it could be RDS because I think when I looked up AWS RDS, they had an in-memory solution as one of the storage options. Nope, none of these are in-memory. Alright. None of these are in-memory ones. It's not Redis, so it has to be Elasticache. Alright.
It's Elastic.
You are designing a multi-tier web application architecture that consists of a fleet of EC2 instances and an Oracle relationship database server. It is required that the database is highly available and that you have full control over its underlying operating system. Which AWS service will you use for your database tier?
RDS.
I don't know. It's not going to be RDS because that's managed for you. I think.
RDS with multi-AZ. Well, I mean, RDS is a whole bunch of database engines.
They're saying like they want like full control of an underlying operating system, which implies EC2. So it's definitely going to be the two different availability. So yeah, 4.
Yeah, no.
Highly available. Okay. However, this only says data replication between 2 different availability zones. RDS with multi-availability zone might be even better, but they're saying full underlying operating system, so EC2. You have a new e-commerce web application written in Angular framework, which is deployed to a fleet of EC2 instances behind ALB. You configure the LB to perform health checks on these EC2 instances. What will happen if one of the EC2 instances fails? ALB stops sending traffic to the instance that's failed its health check. But I answered one similar question like this like 20 questions ago, and I answered this, that it stopped sending it to the failed one. Because but these other ones imply that the load balancer will
the
somehow...
load balancer stops the traffic or terminates the instance?
No, I highly doubt the load balancer will do anything to the instance, so that's why I chose this on my last question too. Like, I even wrote a note that said like... Nah, I didn't even write the note. Because I have a feeling that ALB cannot influence the health or the state of the EC2 instance. It's not like it can tell it to shut down or restart. A suite of web applications is composed of several different auto-scaling group EC2 instances, which is configured with default settings and then deployed across 3 availability zones. There is an application load balancer that forwards a request to the respective target group on the URL path. That forwards the request to the respective target group on the URL path. Okay. The scale in policy has been triggered due to the low number of incoming traffic to the application. How many do they do? Several different auto-scaling EC2 instances, default settings. Which EC2 instance will be the first one? We already know this.
2 or 3?
It's this one, remember? It's the oldest launch configuration one. That's what I learned.
Well, the one running for the longest time,
Nah,
I thought that was
we tried that before. It was wrong. You were building a new data analytics application in AWS, which will be deployed on an auto-scaling group on on-demand EC2 instances and a MongoDB database. Data analytics. Okay, it is expected that the database will have high throughput workloads performing small random IO operations. High throughput workloads, small random IO operations. As a solutions architect, you are required to properly set up and launch the required resources in AWS. Which of the following is most suitable EBS type? Small.
Well, number 3 is bait. Number 3 is bait. It's not it.
Well, I don't think any of these hard drive disk solutions are. And then
yeah. Well, because it says throughput optimized, and the question says have high throughput workloads. That's why I'm saying it's bait.
I mean,
what I mean.
It's 100% this provision IOPS SSD, because you can choose, I guess, what you want, and why would you pick just any SSD? Because it's expected that the database will have high throughput workload. It might be 1 or it might be 2, so I'm gonna say 1. Dude, I don't have enough time to finish this, do I? You have launched a travel photo sharing website.
You have 15 questions in 15 minutes. Just go.
You have launched a travel photo sharing website using Amazon S3 to serve high quality photos. After a few days, you found out that there are other travel websites linking to your photos.
After a few days, found out that there are other travel. Figure.
Yeah, you're gonna have to configure your bucket.
You gotta remove public access, right?
Yeah, but this is probably not even it. You don't block, you don't store EBS. You can use CloudFront, but it's not gonna block it. You definitely need S3 bucket to just let my URLs hit it. A Forex trading platform, which frequently processes and stores global financial data every minute, is hosted on your on-premise data center and uses an Oracle database. Due to a recent cooling problem in the data center, the company urgently needs to migrate the infrastructure to AWS to improve the performance of their applications. As a solutions architect, you're responsible in ensuring that the database is properly migrated to remain available in case of database server failure in the future. Which of the following most suitable solution? Migrate Oracle data to Amazon Aurora. That'll be cool. By converting the database schema using AWS schema conversion tool and AWS database migration service. Create an Oracle database, launch an Oracle database instance and RDS with recovery manager. What?
Isn't it 1? Isn't it 1?
I'm confused what they're trying to do.
I don't know.
You're ensuring, because this is all on their site.
Wasn't there a question like this? And they were like, when you're moving the database, you gotta think for legacy support or like legacy application support or something when you're moving your whole thing.
Yeah, they're talking about this stupid tapes thing in Storage Gateway.
I don't know what recovery manager is. Man, I don't know what that is.
This is this is just saying launch an Oracle database instance in RDS.
Oh.
This isn't gonna transfer anything. This says you're
They
responsible for
migrated
ensuring that the
over.
data is properly migrated and should remain available in case a database server failure. So I see what they're doing. What they're doing is they're gonna continue running that database, right? On their systems. But they're saying there's a problem, and if the ensuring that the database is probably migrated and should remain available, like they're gonna, if it does fail in the future, wait, it should remain okay, so they're just migrating, and they gotta make sure that if it does go down again in the future, which I don't know what the fuck, why, like they're not even talking about on-premise anymore, what do you gotta do?
So when you're migrating your when you're migrating your infrastructure, do you go from Oracle to Amazon Aura?
No, or Aurora is completely different. Yeah, Aurora just it builds all this extra stuff for you, so you don't have to think about it.
So is it one, or is it?
It's probably
three?
one. Wait, one. I don't know what that is. Oracle database and RDS with multiple.
One says launch, two says launch, three says create. So those are keywords there too.
Well, they're also not saying anything about frequently processes store global financial data every minute. I don't know. This one is too much. Like, I like this one because it says like, well, fuck you, Oracle. I don't want to use you, Oracle.
Well, if you pick that as a wrong answer and then you get it wrong, you'll remember it next time. So just do that. You learn from mistakes.
Frequently
So you'll know
processes and
it's not-
stores global financial data.
But yeah, but they're migrating their whole infrastructure to AWS urgently.
I would use Aurora because Aurora lets you, instead of just saying like, oh, I want to use RDS with Oracle, if you use Aurora, it comes with all this like high availability, scalability, and all this stuff for you that you don't have to fucking, and it has migration support. That's what it's saying. Let's see what Oracle has. It just says you can start Oracle, migrate, find out how to work with migrate RDS
To Amazon
Oracle.
RDS for Oracle. Well, that's why the question number one is launch Oracle with the whatever.
I'm just saying it's Aurora, just because I like Aurora
Okay,
now.
Alright.
It might be one of these. I'm just saying Aurora. A multi-tiered
question.
application hosted in your on-premises data center is scheduled to be migrated to AWS. Alright, the application has a message broker service which uses industry standard messaging APIs and protocols that must be migrated as well without rewriting the messaging code in your application. Which of the following most suitable service you should use to move your messaging service to AWS? Industry
What is
standard
SQS?
messaging APIs and protocols.
Is it SQS?
No.
This sounds like one you should just know.
No, this is not
SNS?
gonna. No. SNS sends notifications. SQS is too simple. It's a completely different type of message API and protocol. I think you have to go to MQ.
So you need a messaging API. So it's a messaging service. Okay, MQ. What does MQ do?
I don't know what SWF is, so AWS SWF. Simple workflow service. I mean, it could be that too, but
Multi-step, multi-machine.
I love these
application.
songs, man. Well, the beginning of each one of them are pretty good. But I'm gonna say it's MQ.
Alright.
Because that, I don't know, I'm just gonna say it's MQ. You're using a combination, but it could be SQS, but I highly doubt it. You're using a combination API gateway and Lambda. Like, I'm familiar with a lot of DynamoDB stuff, API gateway stuff, Lambda stuff, EC2 stuff, ELB stuff, ALB stuff, all that stuff. I'm weak on like some storage solutions. But you're using combination API gateway and Lambda for web services of your online web portal that is being accessed by hundreds of thousands of clients each day. Your company will be announcing a new revolutionary product that is expected that your web portal will receive a massive number of visitors all around the globe. How can you protect your backend systems? Apparently you can use these throttling limits will automatically scale. I know that.
Can you use
Mainly, okay.
multi-AZ?
No. This is a joke.
Then it's
This is a joke.
Okay.
And this is this
And it
might be
doesn't automatically scale.
it does, I think.
So why isn't 2 the right answer?
Because a few answers ago, I had the choice to do throttling and caching and API gateway, and I selected that. And I also had the choice to do CloudFront. But
I refuse to believe that nowadays when traffic gets high, the system doesn't automatically like scale for traffic. Because traffic is like an old issue when it comes to
I don't know
like,
what throttling limits are in API gateway throttling. If that's not even a thing,
for better throughput, but it's not like, is it help traffic that much? When request submissions exceed the steady
already.
state request, yeah, it's true. It does limit the requests.
I don't like to just say API gateway will scale and handle massive traffic spikes. I think it's just better to just throttle it.
But using limits.
I don't know what it's gonna do.
Because once you set the limits, fuck. But then traffic.
No, this is what I think happens. I think that if you throttle it, it's going to spawn another API gateway. It says by default it's 10,000 requests a second. The limit.
Oh, read what it does. If a caller submits 10,000 requests in a second, period evenly,
Where?
API gateway processes all requests without dropping any. But if the caller sends 10,000 requests in the first millisecond, the API gateway serves 5,000 of those requests and throttles the rest in 1 second period.
I'm gonna say sure. I'm gonna show you use the throttling. Go. An online shopping platform is hosted on an auto-scaling group of Spot EC2 instances and uses Amazon Aurora Postgres SQL as its database. There's a requirement to optimize your database workloads in your cluster where you have to direct the right operations of the production traffic to your high-capacity instances and point the reporting queries sent by your internal staff to the low-capacity instances. Alright, so, whoa, this is too much I just read. Your shopping platform is hosted on EC2 instances and uses Amazon Aurora Postgres, Amazon Aurora, whatever. There's a requirement to optimize your database workloads in your cluster. We have to direct the right operations of the production to high capacity and everything. The reporting queries are and low capacity ones. Okay, which is the most suitable configuration for your application as well as your Aurora database cluster to achieve this? I don't know nothing about this. Configure your application to use reader endpoint for both production traffic and reporting queries. Configure your application to use the reader endpoint for both production traffic and reporting queries, which will enable your Aurora database to automatically. That doesn't even sound right. With your application, use the cluster endpoint of your Aurora database to handle the incoming production traffic and use the instance endpoint to handle the reporting queries. If there is one, how do you know that they made those kinds of endpoints?
Because it's auto scaling.
Use the cluster endpoint in your database to handle incoming production traffic. Use the instance endpoint to handle. Okay, so
Look what it says.
Maybe-
The production traffic to your high capacity instances and point reporting queries sent by your internal staff to low capacity instances.
this is the thing. This is the thing. If you say cluster endpoint, right, saying that you have a cluster of some stuff, of Spot EC2 instances, you're gonna. You don't know. No. What that means is like, the cluster endpoint is a group. You have a whole group, and you're just using that endpoint, and then it chooses which one it wants, right? I don't know what the algorithm is, but if you say the instance endpoint, you're targeting a specific box inside of that cluster. If you know what the low capacity ones are, that's fine. And if you know what the high capacity ones are, that's fine. But I don't know what saying cluster endpoint does. Create a new custom endpoint Aurora which will load balance database connections based on the specific criteria. Configure your application to use custom endpoint for both production traffic and reporting queries. In your application, use the writer endpoint of your Aurora database to handle the production traffic. Create a new custom endpoint reporting queries. Configure your application to use reader endpoints for both production traffic and reporting queries, which will enable your Aurora data. I mean, I like this one because it says create new custom endpoints in Aurora. You got one for production and reporting queries. I think that'll be fine.
Can you go up to the top of the question? So what does the auto scaling group mean? If you have a custom endpoint.
All right, let me tell you what that means. So
Okay.
auto scaling group is you say like if certain situations are met, like the CPU or memory or something like that, then it will create a new instance, a new spot instance in this case. It'll automatically create more. Except I'm worried because this is saying like production traffic to your high capacity instances. So you might be getting spot EC2 instances that one might be like a good high big instance and one might be a small instance. I don't know. I just say custom endpoint, man. Move on. You are a solutions architect in your company working with 3 DevOps engineers under you. One of the engineers accidentally deleted a file, which has caused a disruption of service. What can you do to prevent this from happening? This is so dumb. I don't like this exam because it asks the same questions multiple times. There are a lot of outages in the availability zone of your RDS database instance to the point that you have lost access to the database. What could you do to prevent this? Enable multi-AZ failover. That's so dumb. You're working, oh, choose 2? You're working for a large financial company as an IT consultant. Your role is to help their development team to build a highly available web app using stateless web servers. In this scenario, which AWS services can you use? Stateless, remember?
Yeah, stateless.
Choose 2? I don't remember this. I don't remember why RDS would be stateless. They're both to me like storage solutions. Elasticache and RDS is what I'm gonna say. DynamoDB. I don't know, I'm so confused. Elasticache doesn't work for DynamoDB. DynamoDB has its own type of Elasticache, so I'm gonna say RDS and Elasticache. Fuck. Oh, this is a long one. A popular social media website uses a CloudFront web distribution to serve their static contents to their millions of users around the globe. They are receiving a number of complaints recently that their users take a lot of time to log into their website.
My bad.
There are also occasions when their users are getting 504 errors. You are instructed by your manager to significantly reduce their users' login time to further optimize the system. CloudFront is... Okay, which of the following options should you use together to set up a cost-effective solution that can improve your application's performance? For some reason, shit's fucked up. Customize the content that the CloudFront web distribution delivers to your user using Lambda at Edge, which allow you to see your Lambda functions to execute the authentication. Okay. Choose 2. Use multiple and geographically dispersed VPCs to various AWS regions. Then create transit VPC to connect all your resources in order to handle the what the fuck? This is some high level question. Next level shit. Configure your origin to add cache control max age directed to your objects and specify the longest practical value for max age to increase the cache hit ratio of your CloudFront distribution. Deploy your application to multiple AWS regions to accommodate the users around the world. Set up a route 50 record word latency routing policy to route incoming traffic to regions that provide the best latency to the users. Set up an origin failover by creating an origin group with 2 origins. Specify one as a primary origin and the other as a second origin, which CloudFront automatically switches to when the primary origin. Return specific HP status code failure responses. I like these, all these 4. Cost effective.
Into all the reasons that you found just to fill the space.
Cost effective. I don't know about that. I think because
Customize the content, the cloud. This is probably wrong.
it asks you cost effective. That's the trick, right? One of those is not.
I think this is wrong because it says CloudFront to deliver stuff using Lambda Edge, which allows your Lambda functions to execute authentication process in AWS locations closer to the users. Customize the content that the CloudFront web. Okay. I don't know how this will. CloudFront's supposed to handle all of that. Use multiple VPCs. I don't care about this. Using SAM. I don't care about that. I like the idea here to like fuck with the headers. Configure origin, add cache control max age directive to your objects. And specify the
So
longest.
what is it telling you to do? Slow down the login times?
No, they're saying that people are taking a long time to log in, and sometimes users get 504, which is like I don't know. Let's look up HTTP 504. Bad gateway.
It's like a timed out request.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Bad, yeah.
Timed out request. I mean, deploy your application to multiple AWS regions to accommodate your users around the world. Set the Route 53 record with latency routing policy to route incoming traffic to the regions that provide the best latency. Set up a failover origin. I mean, I'm gonna choose these two for now. I don't know. Moving on. You have a new joiner in your organization. You have provisioned IAM user for the new employee in AWS. However, the user is not able to perform any actions. What could this be? Explicit denial. IAM users are created by default with partial permissions, with full, with no. You need 24 out. Cannot perform any actions. I'm gonna say they're created with no permissions. I don't know.
Wait, when you're creating something, it has default permission. Can you like choose to create with no permission?
It probably is created with partial permissions, but he's saying he can't do any actions. So I'm gonna say no.
You have
New
but it's
user
a new,
IAM
is there a time
permissions.
limit? Like 24 hours? There's no way.
No, there's no way.
There's no way.
I'm saying I think it's like you get 0 permissions. That's what I think right now. You can create one or more IAM users. You might have the IAM user blah 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 blah. When you create a new application that needs the okay. All right, whatever. We create someone. Permissions. On the set permission page, specify you want to assign permissions to this new user. I want to know what the default is. By default, users do not have permissions to manage their own credentials. That doesn't mean anything. I'm still saying they're gonna have no permissions.
Yeah.
They can't do anything.
It's such a simple answer.
No,
though.
it's not. Like it could be partial or no permissions. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but
say
like
it's no.
what I'm meaning is like because he can't do anything, you just say he has no permission. You know.
Your company announced
like
that
a
there
one-to-one.
would be a surprise IT audit on all the AWS resources being used in the production environment. During the audit activities, it was noted that you were using a combination of standard and scheduled reserved EC2 instances in your applications. They argue that you should have used spot EC2 instances instead because it's cheaper than the reserved instance. Combination standard is scheduled. I've never seen scheduled reserved EC2 or scheduled instances. Actually, I have. Anyway, they argue you should have used spots instead of because they're cheaper than reserved. So standard and spots. Which of the following are the characteristics and benefits of using these two types of reserved EC2 instances, which you can use to justify? Okay. I don't know what this is.
I'm gonna look it up for you. On demand versus reserve versus spot.
No, I think I'm not. Don't look it up. Let me pick these first because I'm already guessing. Like, oh, they're already saying like I know spot instances you could lose them. It says reserved instances does not get interrupted like spot instances in the event that there are not enough unused EC2 instances. It runs in a VPC on hardware dedicated. Okay, you can have capacity reservations that recur on a daily, weekly, monthly basis with a specified start time durations for a 1 year term through scheduled reserve. I don't even know if that's true. Standard reserved instances can later be exchanged or can be later exchanged for other convertible reserved instances. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Convertible instances. I want the standard. I want the. It can enable you to reserve capacity for your Amazon EC2 instances and multiple AZs. I mean, I think these two would be a good thing, but this might be true right here.
Let me read this and then you decide what the answer is. With reserved instances, there's 1 or 3 year terms, and then you save money based on that. You can save more or less money depending on how much your upfront down payment is. There's 3 options upfront.
You have to buy the whole year?
There's even scheduled reserves instances. Yeah, it goes
you have
between
to,
a 1 year commitment or a 3 year. That's the two
you have.
Oh,
you can have
and
capacity reservations that recur on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis with a specified start time and duration for a 1 year term. These scheduled reserved instances. Okay, go on.
Okay, there's even scheduled reserved instances. This is where you get different prices depending on literally the day of the week you reserve the instance for. The idea is that you can save money with instances on days where there's less demand, say weekends. There are other details on the reserved instances to keep track of. You reserve instances for specific instance types in specific AZs and regions under certain conditions. And you can modify the reservation and change the instance type. If you reserve the wrong instance type or no longer needed, you can also resell the reservation in the marketplace, though you usually won't get.
Can you reserve them for any duration?
How much can you save within a 1 year term on average 40%, 3 year term on average 60%?
It says here,
no, it
one of the questions.
It says 1 or 3. It says reserve their 1 or 3 year commitments. 1 year is 40% discount. 3 year commitment.
All right, so this wrong. This is wrong, man. This answer is wrong because it says it can enable you to reserve capacity for your Amazon EC2 instances in multiple availability zones and multiple regions for any duration. And you said multiple AZs in multiple regions. You didn't say for any duration. So I'm gonna have to say this 3 and 5 then.
What does any duration mean? Like. What if
any duration you want? You can't commit.
You can keep committing year after year, right?
Those are set durations.
Or every 3 years you do.
I'm done with that. We're not doing that lawyer shit right now.
That's true. Okay. Now there's also information on spot here.
I don't want spots. It can't be this one, and it can't be this one. So it's this one. These two. You're working as a solutions.
You can resell them. Is that one of the answers?
No. You're working as a solutions architect for a government project in which they are building an online portal to allow people to pay their taxes and claim their tax refunds online. Due to the confidentiality of the data, the security policy requires that the application hosted in EC2 encrypts the data first before writing it to the disk for storage. In this scenario, what would you use? I can choose multiple? Oh no, one.
No, just one. What's the best one?
It says you have to encrypt the data first before writing it to the disk. So I would just say AWS KMS API. That basically lets me get a key to encrypt the data, but I don't know. The security token service is stupid. That's not going to do it. It's either EFS or EBS encryption, but EBS encryption to me sounds like it's encrypted at rest. I don't know. Let me look it up. Offers a straightforward encryption solution for EBS volumes that doesn't require you to build, maintain, and secure your own key management infrastructure. It uses key management, customer master key, blah, 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 blah. When you create an encrypted volume and attach it to support instance type, the following types of data are encrypted. Data at rest. All moving data between the volume and the instance. All volumes. It could be EBS encryption, but like it says here. It requires the application hosted in EC2 encrypts the data first before writing it. All data moving between the volume and the instance. All data at rest inside of all snapshots created, all volumes created. It might be EBS if that's the case. If it says all data moving between the volume and the instance, then I think that supports it. I don't know how you read that.
It says when you create an encrypted EBS volume and attach it to a supported instance type, the following data types are encrypted. data at rest inside the volume, all
This
data
one.
moving between the volume.
Yeah, all
But,
data
like,
moving
but
between
it
the
wants
volume.
all snapshots created and all volumes created from those snapshots.
Yeah, all
You can
data
encrypt both
moving is
both.
the important part, though. Encryption
can encrypt
operations
both.
occur. Whoa, this is important right here. It says here. It says encryption operations occur on the servers that host EC2 instances, ensuring that security of both data at rest and data in transit between the instances. I think the EBS one is good.
But it says that encrypts the data first before writing into the disk storage. That's what it does, right?
Yeah, it'll
It
encrypt.
encrypts the whole disk. No, but wait, it says it encrypts the whole volume or disk.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I think
It doesn't matter.
AWS KMS API won't encrypt for you. It'll just get you a key. But I thought you would have to manually encrypt it before putting it anywhere else. So they're saying which service you would use. AWS KMS API is only going to get you keys, man. So yeah, it's got to be the EBS encryption. I just didn't know EBS encryption does data encryption through the wire, like over the wire. Like that your shit's gonna be encrypted on the client, aka the instance, all the way to the server, which is the storage. I don't like saying client server, but you know what I mean. From where it's at to where it's going, it's encrypted. I'm gonna go next. You are working as a solutions architect in a new startup that provides storage for high quality photos, which are infrequently accessed by users. To make the architecture cost effective, you design the cloud service to use S3 one zone infrequent access storage type for free users and standard S3 infrequent access for premium users. When your manager found out about this, he asked you about the trade-offs of using one zone IA instead of standard. I always thought that the one zone IA was higher, like better like numbers, but I guess. Provides more durability. I don't know how something that's called one zone IA can provide more durability.
Look at the next one.
Alright, let me read the first one. Unlike other Amazon storage classes which store data in a minimum of 3 availability zones, storage in a single AZ. I know that. Like,
So it's called one zone.
okay, but so what the fuck are they saying here? What will you say to your manager? He asked about the trade-offs.
What are the trade-offs? Yeah. So like.
Unlike other, oh yeah, then yeah, he wants to know what the trade-off is.
Yeah.
So unlike the other classes, blah blah, yeah.
So it's not that it costs less. Cost less is not a trade-off.
Costlessness,
Costing less.
storing it in standard A.
You're not trading that off. That's it.
Storing
Oh,
data
there's
S3 costs more than storing but provides more no. Unlike other Amazon classes which store a minimum of 3 availability zones, one zone IA stores in 2. Hence the name. One zone IA is the name replication.
That contradicts the first one.
This is hilarious because it's like S3 one zone IA stores data in 2 AZ only. Hence the name. One zone IA since the day.
Yeah,
Watch
like,
this be the answer though. I know.
What do you mean, hence the
S3
name?
1.0 offers lower durability and low throughput compared to Amazon S3 standard,
I'm sorry, but they should have coded 2 zone.
which is why it has a low. I'm gonna say this.
Yeah. That looks good. That
Boom.
looks good to me.
A Docker application, ooh, my favorite, which is running on ECS cluster behind a load balancer is heavily using DynamoDB. You are instructed to improve the database performance by distributing the workload evenly and using provision throughput efficiently. Which other font would you consider to implement in your table? No, that's wrong. Use partition keys with high cardinality attributes, yes. Which have a large number of distinct values for you, that's true. Use partition with low, no. Avoid using composite primary key, which is composed of prime.
No.
That's it. It helps put the data on different pieces on the drive, or different partitions.
Yeah. Let's have large numbers to see.
You are designing a banking portal which uses Amazon Elastic Cache for Redis. What the fuck is this?
I can't hear. Because I stay muted, I'm just watching it.
I just want to hear the good music I was hearing earlier. Good music, man.
Mm-hmm.
We'll listen to this. 32 minutes. You are designing a banking portal which uses Amazon Elasticache for Redis
The distribution is that
as
what
its
it is?
distribution system session management component. A Redis in-memory database. Uses Elasticache for Redis as its distributed session management component. I don't know. Since the other cloud engineers in your department have access to your Elasticache cluster, you have to secure the session data in the portal by requiring them to enter a password before they are granted permission to execute Redis commands. Woo! As a solutions architect, which of the following should you do to meet the above requirement? Set up IAM policy and MFA, which requires the cloud engineers to enter their IAM credentials and token before they can access. That sounds dumb.
Yeah, but 3 sounds good.
Set up a Redis replication group and enable at rest and no. Authenticate user using Redis auth by creating a new Redis cluster with both the transit and auth token prior sale. Yeah.
Look at all the red, man.
Alright, this is cool because it says like you set up a policy, an MFA, which requires the cloud engineers to enter IAM credentials. But the thing I don't like about this is
you
like, don't want to
have access to it too.
No. The thing about this is you don't want people to be entering IAM token before. Fuck all that.
Either IAM credentials.
I think you don't want.
What should be the 4th one? Because that's just something.
Authenticate the user is using Redis auth by creating a new Redis cluster with both the transit encryption enabled and auth token parameters enabled. You're designing a banking portal, blah 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 blah. Distribute a session manual. Since the other.
Wait. Number 3 is 1 and 4 combined. It's 1 and 4 combined, literally. Number 3.
You're designing a banking portal which uses Amazon Elasticache for Redis as its distributed session management component. Since the other cloud engineers in your department have access to your Elasticache cluster, you have to secure the session data in the portal by requiring them to enter a password before they're granted permission to execute Redis commands. I don't know, man. Who cares? Next.
Well, don't they have to enter the password first and then they're given an authentication token, and while they're like, they can fucking change stuff and have access until they sign out?
I don't know what Redis auth is. I don't know if it's a real thing. I don't know if you want to make another Redis cluster. I don't know and I don't care. I'm just gonna go next. You have identified a series of DDoS attacks. I don't care, man. You have identified a series of DDoS attacks while monitoring your VPC as a solution architect. You're responsible for fortifying your current cloud infrastructure to protect the data. Whoa. Which of the following most suitable solution? I like that one. Use the firewall manager, set up the security layer that will prevent SYN flows, UP reflection attacks, and DDoS attacks. Set up a web application firewall using this. I like this one.
You can block HTTP traffic. That sounds good. That's how you stop DDoS attacks usually.
I think shield is what you want in this case.
Yeah, shield sounds like a keyword,
it's
right?
DDoS.
It's when it attack. Yep.
But and WAF is used to like literally say like this address no, or this IP no. It's like,
yeah, but they're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah,
they're gonna keep doing it. So shield.
All right, we're done.
Dude, this is it. You're about to get an 80%. You gotta believe in yourself. Oof, you're so close, man. Yeah, how many times you failed?
I'm gonna review now.
You've been disqualified. wait, look. RDS questions, man. 40% wrong. Keep going down.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah. So, S3 questions, man. 50% wrong. That's the US3. Your CloudWatch. Oof. That's a oof.
This is all they're gonna tell me? What about my answers?
That's fucked up. Oh,
I don't like this. I want to know like what I got wrong.
Oh, review questions. Can you review questions?
Yeah, good. Here we go. Which of the following can be done to ensure the application works properly at the beginning of the day? Scheduled, scaling policies, explanations, blah 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 blah. I like these explanations. Look at these.
Can you download this? I'm
not gonna distribute this. This is paid.
No, for yourself.
Oh yeah, I have
the answers and stuff. Like you have like these answers. You keep them. Okay. Like,
I take notes. I'm taking notes.
Oh, I mean, like just literally take the screenshot.
I'm not going to.
I mean, you don't distribute.
I don't know why the hell they're even talking about this right here. I don't care. I'm gonna move on. This is enable IMDb authentication. Never heard of this. As a what company, which of the following should you do to meet the above requirement? What does it say? To protect the confidential data of your customers, you have to ensure that your database can only be accessed using profile credentials specific to EC2 instances via. I even know that was a thing. Okay.
I wasn't here, man. I came in when like question 40.
You can authenticate your DB instance using AWS Identity Access Management. I didn't know that.
Enable
IAM-DB authentication allows using IAM for DB auth with MySQL and Postgres.
You don't need to use a password with this type of authentication when you connect to DB.
With this authentication, you don't
Instead,
need.
use a token.
Yeah, but that's what I want to do. I was like, use a combination of IAM and STS to restrict access. That's how I would have done it, but that's apparently what this does.
Yeah, you gotta use AWS ways, man.
It's for RDS.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to write that in. RDS question. Alright. Next.
Give
Incorrect.
us better explanations.
Yeah, this one was nice. So Cost Explorer is a real thing, and I already wrote a note to myself about this. Like it wasn't on here, but I knew. I was like, Cost Explorer doesn't sound right, but I'm gonna go with it. It was AWS budgets. AWS budgets. That's
Of course,
is a
it
real
has
thing.
AWS in the answer.
I don't care, man.
I'm just joking.
And you know what we do
But
at
it's
work?
funny.
You know what
It's
we
always
really do at
AWS
work?
ones,
You really
right?
want, this is what we do at work. You see this? The second option?
Yeah.
We use like tags.
You do cross
Because
allocation,
when you provision a resource in AWS, you can provide tags, and we have like a cost center tag that we add to things. That way we can figure out what needs to get billed to what for the resources. But anyway, how was this right? Verify your private key. All right, whatever. I think I know about these things.
Good, man. Good.
Solutions architect is designing online. What? There's they have PII, right? And they're like, before the data is sent, both the master keys and unencrypted data should never be sent to AWS, right? Like, you have to send it like encrypted before you send. Which S3 encryption technique should the architect use? I'm like, use client-sided encryption with KMS managed keys. They're like, use S3 client-side encryption with a client-side master key.
Yeah, well, you don't KMS manage keys, man.
Alright, client S3 encrypt with fuck it. I can't even write context list. It doesn't matter. Client-side encryption is active encrypted data. It's use an AWS managed customer master key. What? To enable client-side encryption, you have the following options. Oh shit! I could have got this.
Yeah, but you chose KMS managed customer keys. You know.
No, I chose a correct option, except they say up here, both the keys and the data should never be sent to AWS. And they're saying, when using the KMS managed customer master key to enable client-side data encryption, you provide AWS KMS master key ID to AWS. And so they don't want you to send that. You don't want to send that ID. On the other hand, when you use client-side master key for client-side data, your client and your unencrypted data are never sent to AWS. This is important.
So would you have a question that doesn't say that you don't want to send the ID, and would be the other like fucking
I'll have to remember.
choice?
I'll have to remember that if I need to do everything encrypted before I even talk to AWS, I can't use
Client-side master
KMS.
key.
I can't use KMS.
So no KMS.
No
Then what
KMS.
about number 4? What's number 4 wrong about? Oh, because it's server-side encryption. Okay, yeah.
Alright, there's no additional charge for CloudFormation. Okay, duh. What was this? What is the most suitable database solution to achieve this? It should also provide
DynamoDB, man.
Why? Before we proceed in answering the question, we must first be clear with the actual definition of a schema. That's what I. Oh, okay. So I said
Dude, but DynamoDB has a horror.
this. No, this is why I know DynamoDB. You do not want to change the schema in DynamoDB. It fucks everything up. You can't just change the schema in DynamoDB. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay, but that's.
But they're trying to explain it right here. Before we proceed in answering the question, we must first be clear with the actual definition of schema. Basically, an English definition of schema is a representation of a plan or theory in the form of an outline or model.
So they're trying to trick question you?
I just think the schema is a structure and a model of your data and your database.
Yeah.
You can't just change the structure of your data. You can use indexes. If you create a bunch of new indexes in DynamoDB, you'll be fine. A relational database is known for having a rigid schema with lots of constraints and limits. That's not oh my god.
I mean, they're telling you it's true, man.
It is not as rigid as a relational database because you can easily add or remove rows. That's true, you can. But that's not, it has a name, I forgot what it's called. It means, oh my god, what is that name? The ability to add additional fields or rows or attributes in the database. It's called like sparse data. It also has a more flexible schema because it can store complex hierarchical data with a single item, which unlike a relational. I don't like this answer. It's DynamoDB scales well due to the reasons. It's schema flexibility. Let's DynamoDB store complex hierarchical data with a single item. DynamoDB is not totally schemaless database since the very definition of schema. It's just a model.
You just said like 30 seconds ago, I know what DynamoDB is, and I know schema flexibility. And it literally told you the opposite, so remember this answer, man. It's flexible.
Because they're both relational databases. Well, so it's because my inexperience with the relational databases. Then if you change the schema in a relational database, it's probably the same impact. They probably have both bad impacts. It's just that one has lesser impact, and that's probably DynamoDB because it's an NoSQL.
It just says can handle.
I'm just gonna remember that from now on, that if you have to change the schema or add to a schema or something, it's better to DynamoDB.
So when is it better to Amazon or Rapid?
If you're, dude, DynamoDB is a lot harder to use. It's not unless you don't know anything about databases. If you're starting like as a programmer and you want to use a database, I recommend you do any NoSQL database over a regular like MySQL fucking database. And Aurora is MySQL or SQL database, and DynamoDB is a NoSQL. So what that means is it's like MongoDB, where you're just storing key value pairs. You're not fucking storing like objects, like a car object that has this kind of relationship with another type of object, like manufacturer or whatever, you know, something like that. You store something like fruit equals apple. Key value, something very low level that it doesn't, because, and at the same time, like NoSQL doesn't let you query data out of databases with the really process intensive, compute intensive like SQL query. You just get stuff like where key equals this or key starts with this. It's very low level, but it's higher performing. When will the changes be applied? Instantly, immediately, all the time. What the fuck is this? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? The question from before is like, what do you have in CloudWatch? And then like, what doesn't come? As a what's a custom metric, right? And I thought it was disk reads because like,
no, it was memory.
But why?
No, because that was it talked about it. It said it can't directly access what the memory is like.
The
but it
memory
can tell you how much usage of the disk is. Yes, like it was the same. It was the same thing we went over.
It can't, because it's a violation of what? Of, I don't know. This is a long explanation. I don't care about that. The other one was something like, you're not allowed to see as part of like the security agreements. You're not allowed to see the memory. However, there are certain metrics that are not readily available in CloudWatch, such as memory utilization, disk space utilization,
You didn't remember that disk was like.
It says disk
What I'm
space
saying.
utilization. You can't tell.
Yeah, but like.
And many
you can
others which
still
can be
read it.
collected setting custom metric. You need to prepare custom metric. Blah 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 for memory utilization, disk swap, disk space, page file. I'm gonna say that. I don't remember that. Custom metrics. Boom. Got it. For the future.
Yeah. That's all I need to know. Question 10 is correct.
Was it considering that Lambda function is storing sensitive data and API credentials? How can you secure these information to prevent other developers in your team or anyone from seeing these credentials in plain text? Create a KMS key and use it to enable encryption helpers. That I just found out about this. I had to look this one up. Lambda supports something called encryption helpers. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good to know. Encryption helpers. Oh, I got this wrong. I got this one wrong. I didn't know how to read this one, man, because this one says I need to have 20 EC2 instances. And then I remember what I read before is if you reserve any amount of address space, you have to do...
Isn't like the first how many? Like there's some that are taken.
Yeah, there's
Like,
4 taken. There's 4 taken. And so I looked at it and I saw 28 was 16. And we need 20. And so 29 was 64 minus 4 would have been 60. So I'm like, okay, we have 20. So I chose 29. But I opened up CIDR conversion table right here.
That cheat sheet? Oh yeah.
I read it wrong. This is what I did. I looked at 28. I looked at subnets like a fucking idiot. It's supposed to be this number.
But you answered
It's supposed to be hosts. It's supposed to be hosts. I looked at subnets instead like an idiot. It was supposed to be hosts.
Oh, that's why it's 27. Because host said 30.
32 means one IP address technically. So whatever you enter in is, yeah, it's usually left out.
Well, we wanted 20, so 30 is good enough, and there's no point to go 60. So you go 27.
Oh my god, I can't believe I did that, dude.
Yeah.
I can't believe I looked at this number instead of a number of hosts. I like that
But
number.
you're supposed to, but on the actual test, you're actually supposed to know this.
Yeah.
Like, you can't disable.
What are you supposed to remember? It's hard to remember the CIDRs. Like, I'm
but it's mathematical. There's a pattern, look.
Oh yeah, there is a pattern, yeah.
Yeah,
You just gotta remember 32 is the max, and then it's a 2 for every last one. You see? 32.
It's, I mean,
You're
like,
skipping one, but
2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64.
oh, there is no
like, you can
pattern.
do that in your head.
There's no pattern.
You can do
Then.
that in your head.
No, there's no
What do you
pattern.
mean? What do you mean? It's
This is not 2, 4, 8. It's 2, 6, 14.
no the difference. No, but look at the difference.
What?
No, the difference. The difference between 1 and 2. Okay. Okay. The difference between 2 and 6 is 4. The difference between 6 14 is 8. 14, 13, 30 is 16. 30, 62, 32, 64, 128. Do you get it? You keep going.
I get it.
254. Yeah.
But if I knew it as the real bit mask here, it would make sense. Like the problem here is like this number saying that this is the mask is really bad to say because they're like technically octets. I don't know how to explain it. Like I can draw it out better. This is what they're trying to say with those things, right? They're trying to do something like this.
It's yeah.
Like let's say 255 is a number and they're octets because they're like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 I think. And so this is the 1, the 2, the 4,
I'm
the
looking at that.
0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 2 to the 7. What's 2 to the 7? Actually it's 7 to the 2, isn't it? No, it's 2 to 7.
2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 4, 8, 16, 32. Is it 64? No, one more. 128. Oh, 256?
This
That was
it can't be 256. It has to be 128. So this is 128 and this is the rest, right? the 127, right? And so that's how this bit mask works. If they're saying like 252 at the end here, right? And they're saying you're getting 2 IPs, it's filling all this up all the way to, I guess, something like this.
It's literally 2 to the power of x.
252
That's the pattern.
to binary.
2 to the power of x is the pattern.
You see that? So that's the bit mask it creates of, and it's saying that it's only gonna allow these 2 addresses, or the addresses from, yeah, whatever these are. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a mask that gets applied somehow. And so I don't like looking at this, and you have to like literally memorize this thing, unless you want to sit there.
Out of 2 to 48 to 40 to 24. Dude, it's the same pattern. How do you not see it?
You're talking about the difference?
Every single one of those rows has this. It's 2 to the power of whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
The
It's multiplied by 2.
The mask is going down. The mask is going down. You're subtracting 2. You're subtracting 4. You're subtracting 8. You're subtracting 16, and then you go down to a 24. It goes down 1, and it goes 25, 25, 25, 25, and then 24. I mean, 55, 54, and then you start subtracting 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and then once you do 64, you reach 128. It goes down another one, you see, and you do it over. You see the mask, that's the pattern. You can just remember this in your head right now, literally. Like this is easy. So that's how you take care of the mask, and then the networks, same shit. It goes from 2 to 128, from 2 to 128, from 2 to 128. Or from 1. It's out of 1. From 1 to 128.
I don't care about the networks. That's not important to me. It's the number of hosts.
Yeah, the number of hosts. So the host is the easiest. A 31 is none. A 30 is out of 2, and then each one below that, it's just fucking 2 to the power of x. So 2, 6, 4. Yeah. No. It's not 2 to the power of x. The difference is 2 to the power of x. So that's actually plus 2. It's always plus 2. Add 2 to whatever number you see there. The 6 is an 8. The 14 is a 16. So then you just think of the fucking, you think of 2 to the power x and subtract 2, and that you get your like numbers.
Well, no, you can't say that. 16.
That's 16, so you just subtract 2. You just subtract 2 on each one. 32 minus 2 is 30. 64 minus 2 is
So how does it go from 2 to 6 then? How does it get to 8 minus 2?
I think that's 4. It goes from 4 to 8, right? It's 4 times 2 is 8. So the 2 is a 4 because it's 4 times 2, and the 6 is an 8.
So it's 6 times
am I wrong
4?
about- No. What do you mean?
I'm trying to understand why you're doing 2 times 4 minus 2.
No. Look at the difference between them.
It's 4.
Yeah, and then the next one is 8. It's double. It's double the last one. It's always double. So 2 times 4 is
Easy
8.
way
8
to
times-
remember cider.
8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. Just think about that. I mean, it makes sense in my head. I just don't know how to explain it well. Dude, you're gonna need a calculator. How the fuck are you supposed to know, like, 32,766 times 2? 70 times 2, whatever.
You have a 4 here on 30.
Well, it's not a 4 on 30. I don't know. See, they're not.
It's saying 4.
Well, no, that's not the host, though. Is that the host?
No, it's literally saying number of addresses, but then it ends up saying like 1 usable address. 5 usable addresses.
Well, in the other table, it's the host.
29 is 6 hosts.
So wait, available addresses and hosts, how is that different?
All I know is this is different on different sites right now.
It should be the same. It should be like, but look. You don't see from 55 to 54 it goes 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. You don't see that? The last one is 128 minus 128.
All I know is
yeah.
I'm looking at this right now.
Yeah, but look at the last three numbers.
24 means 255 different addresses. In this case, all these, right? 0 to 255.
Yeah.
And then this means half of that.
To 120. No.
I thought it did. 25, 124.
I mean, it
24
is
is
half,
the. Yeah.
because you can't. There's no odd numbers, so yeah. But like, and then there's half of the half and half of the half and half the half, because each time you're dividing by 2.
Yeah, but I don't know why it goes 127 instead of 124 and then divide by half. 63. You know.
Because you're looking at the mask. What are you talking about? You're looking at the holes, but the other one's showing the mask.
Alright, what does 255 divided by 2 do?
128.
No.
Well, it's gonna round up. It's gonna round up to an even number, because
This doesn't make any sense. So there's technically 256. That's what's happening because it's 0 through 255.
Yeah, the first
by
one.
2. Divided by 2.
Yeah. And then divided by 2 is 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1.
I'm not gonna remember it all. It's easier to just memorize it.
Yeah. But just know the pattern if you get lost.
Yeah, I'm gonna remember 24 is the magic number if I need 255, which is a whole subdomain. Like there's a fuckload. There's a whole octet is 24. These numbers are ridiculous.
So go zoom out a little bit.
What do you mean?
Zoom out of the whole. That's not the whole table. I can't see it. Oh wait, I have my stream. Okay. You remember 8, 16, 24. Yeah, 8, 16, 24, and then 32, I guess. Remember those 3 numbers. Because at each one of those, that's a big shift.
They all follow the same
8,
pattern. The ones I'm really interested in are these, because that's what people are talking about in these exams, right? So
the hosts. Yeah, but it just go back to the question.
They ask a question here where I had to say something with 32 earlier too. I just said 29 when I meant to say it's 26 or 27 in my case. Go back.
29 doesn't have enough hosts. 29 doesn't have hosts because it needs.
Oh look, they got math. They got math to calculate the total number of IP addresses in a given CIDR block. You simply need to follow 2 easy steps. 27. Subtract 32 with the masked number 5.
You get 5.
Raise the number to power to number 2 to the power 32.
Wait a minute, but they already knew the number was 27. They already knew that. Wait. Yeah, they already knew the CRP length is 27.
The answer to step 2 is the total number of IP addresses. And they say that the first 4 addresses in the last IP. What? This is saying 5 now. I was told the 4 addresses total, the first 3 and then the last IP, not the first 4, because they're saying 1 is reserved for like something that's not there yet. Like for future functionality. Don't forget AWS, the first 4 IP addresses and the last IP address in each subnet site or block are not available to use and it cannot be assigned to an instance. In addition, you can always associate a net mask of 27, which also has the same number of usable IP address, 27, to help you with your exam. Oh, that's good to remember. 27 gives you 27.
Yeah, but then the next one is.
No, we're not done. We're not done with that. Oh, you're right.
Option 1. Yeah, this is the actual, because the CIP block of 172 whatever 27 with a nest mask 27 has an equivalent of 27 usable IPs. But remember, 5 are the 5 are reserved. So 32 minus the 5 reserved, you get 27. Boom. Boom. That's all it is.
I want to
know the 5 IP addresses reserved.
I'm kind of interested to know like what they reserve it for, because I remember from my last exam I took, it said 4 are reserved, not 5.
Are you sure it wasn't like 5? Are you sure it was like 4 for 1?
It's 5 now. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
So is to 0.3, it gets reserved. So that maybe I just read it wrong because I was on this page last time. I saw it for future use, and I remember the 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and then last one, or the highest address, whatever it is.
Oh boy, incorrect.
5 addresses reserved by AWS.
A traffic
insider block.
Dude, I'm trying to like
What did I do here?
conceptualize these answers and questions with the limited knowledge I have. It's pretty fun.
The traffic monitoring and reporting application uses Kinesis to accept real-time data. Visual following service. I didn't know anything about Elasticsearch service to search for it. Streaming data, various Kinesis data file, the easiest way to load streaming data into data stores.
I was gonna say,
Cool.
think about it says streaming data, and then think about Elastic.
I didn't even know Amazon S3 Select was a feature. It's also a feature of Redshift. Although Amazon Kinesis data files can load streaming data to both S3 and Redshift, that does not directly load the data to S3 Select or Redshift Spectrum. S3 Select is an Amazon S3 feature that makes it easy to retrieve specific data from the contents of an object using simple SQL expressions without having to retrieve the entire object. Amazon Redshift Spectrum is a feature that allows Redshift will enables you to run queries against exabytes of unstructured data.
Boy.
Yeah, I read about the Spectrum thing.
And number 4 is incorrect because Amazon Kinesis data files cannot load streaming data.
Athena. So I have to remember Elasticsearch service is use load streaming data.
Elastic streaming.
Amazon Elasticsearch service loads streaming data.
Like the water
Kinesis.
of a stream, it's elastic.
You can help me remember with those?
I do not remember with those. I tried though.
I like their explanations. I love the photos. That's really good, dude. I wish I could
out of
spend
the
more.
fucking book.
I wish I could spend more time looking
Whatever
at
book
it.
that is. Oh, this is from their lessons that you don't want to take. The course content.
No, I didn't. This is a.
But doesn't it have?
I paid
isn't
for
this
the.
thing?
They're separate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The other thing has the course.
Yeah, you're managing a suite of applications on your on-prem network. You're using trusted IPs. Which is the following most suitable solution to probably migrate your applications? So this question asked me, and question 13, right? I wrote the note about this one. I said 13.3. It's probably 3, but I chose 4. I didn't know anything about this ROA stuff if it was a real thing. But what this question is asking is there's an IP address we need. All our partners, all my customers are using that IP, but now I want to go to AWS. What do I do? So I was like, submit a request form to migrate the IP address range that you own to AWS account. That's wrong. You got to do this route origin authorization. Then once done, provision and advertise your whitelisted IP address range to your AWS account. I didn't know anything about that. Now I got to remember. You can bring all or part of your public IPv4 address range from your on-prem network to your AWS account. You continue to own the address range, but AWS advertises it to the internet. After you bring the address range to AWS, it appears in your account as an address pool. You can create an elastic IP address from your address pool and use it with your AWS resources, such as EC2 instances. AWS is ridiculous. Bring your IP addresses. Whoop. A route origin authorization is a document that you can create through your regional internet registry, RIR. Yeah, I don't know anything about this stuff because it starts talking about these ASNs or ASs or ANs. It's like some crazy thing like autonomous system. Autonomous system? You ever heard of an ASN before? The fuck is autonomous system? Yeah, like I'm good, man. I don't know. This is some next level networking stuff that like I wouldn't know. But yeah, that's
Be
cool.
a grandpa, man. You gotta know it.
Yeah, this is some grandpa shit. Yeah, this is grandpa shit. Option 1 is incorrect because you cannot map the IP address in your on-prem network. Well, I don't even want to read it. This was correct. Don't care. It was about how to prevent the accidental deletion or overwriting. It's always enable MFA on delete.
I mean,
and
save
enable
the
versioning.
explanation just so you can read it later. Can you access this again?
Yeah,
Or
always.
is this the only time? Okay.
I own this, yeah.
So you can see like the solutions.
I can see it always, yeah. I can retake the test, as you see.
That's fine. That's fine.
So I don't know how I got this one right. It's like we need to. We're in UE Central 1, but we want to go to US West 2. I just chose copy the AMI from the Central 1 to US West 2 region. Afterwards, create new.
Yeah, that was the same question.
No, it wasn't the same as before.
One.
There was similar ones that talk about copying, but. And I didn't know.
Like
I didn't know if this existed. There was something here.
Copy.
There's something here that's like in the AMI dashboard. Add the US West 2 region to network access control list, which contains regions that are allowed to use AMI. I was like, nah, that contradicts what I've heard before. Sharing contradicts what I heard before. None. I don't know about that, so I just chose this. In this scenario, each two instances you're currently using depends on pre-built AMI. The AMI is not accessible in any other region. Hence, you have to copy it to US West 2 region to properly establish your disaster recovery instance. You can copy Amazon machine image within or across AWS region using Amazon AWS Management Console, the AWS command line tools or SDK, or the Amazon EC2 API. I feel like the other exam I took was a lot more technical, if that means anything. Like, it was very technical. Wow, look, it's my boy, Harsh Samaran.
That's AWS idea. Engineer.
DAX, I already knew that. Don't
DAX.
even care about that. You'll launch the new enterprise app. Which of the following most suitable configuration have you achieve? Oh, I guess this one. This is saying, I didn't understand this because it's...
Read why. Explanation.
Well, I thought I was getting tricked again. This thing was saying like... upon checking performance, it shows the write throughput of the database needs to be improved, and it said large EC2 instance, so I was scared it was going to be one of those trick questions. Where I can't increase the size of the instance, but I said set up RAID 0 with two EBS volumes. I don't know anything about the placement groups, and RAID 1, I don't know if that was a real thing. Relaunch the instance with a pair of virtual AMI. I didn't even know how that was relevant, so I was like, RAID 2 on the volumes and increase the size of the EC2 instance. The goal here is to increase write throughput. Some EC2 instance types can drive more I/O throughput. You can join multiple volumes together in RAID 0 config. That's whatever. RAID 1 can mirror two volumes together. Okay. So RAID 1 mirrors two volumes, or RAID 0 can make multiple volumes one. I don't know. Option 2 is incorrect because blah, 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 is incorrect because blah, 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 blah. Okay. Okay. Since the company is using Microsoft Active Directory, which implements security assertion markup SAML, you can set up SAML-based federation for API access to AWS Cloud. We need to do this at work, man.
Tell someone that listens.
No, we are doing this. Yeah, we are slowly doing this. We were just doing it the wrong way. We're actually paying for a service from Azure to map AWS IAM roles to the Active Directory groups that we have. So every company has something called Active Directory or LDAP. Usually, it's industry standard, basically saying what group you're in for permissions. And AWS needs to take care of that because they don't care about group permissions. They do something called IAM roles for everything. And so we go through Microsoft to then talk to Amazon Literally, we're only using the Microsoft Azure thing, Active Directory thing, because it lets us map.
Time to make money.
Yeah, it lets us map roles to whatever. But what we're trying to go in the future is, and it's going to be even more convoluted. We're going to be logging in, and it's going to be logging through Azure, and then it's going to be talking to something that ends up using our Active Directory from Azure, not the one on premises, even though they're linked together, to generate a token, this STS thing, simple token service. And then we can do stuff, but whatever. You're a solutions architect. What will we do to justify this architecture? Transferring data from an EC2 instance to S3 bucket in the same region has no cost at all. I took a fucking shot in the dark on this one. This guy was like, we're transferring large amounts of data to an S3 bucket from a on-demand EC2 instance, and then apparently transferring data from an EC2 instance to a bucket in the same region has no cost. Transferring data from EC2 into Amazon S3, Glacier, DynamoDB, blah, 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 blah. Region has no cost at all. Refer to Amazon EC2 pricing. 1 and 4 are incorrect, and 3 is incorrect. There's no such thing as 50% discount when transferring data. Okay. Oh, man, what did I do? 80 connector and IAM roles. I'll remember that next time. Fuck it. Private subnet, duh. That's so cool. I like that they go in depth for all the answers, even if I got it right. I don't know what I just read here. Option 2 is incorrect as a read replica provides an asynchronous replication instead of a synchronous. I would have not known that. Ephemerals. Ephemeral instance store volumes. Data deleted when instance stopped. EC2.
It will be deleted.
Like, I don't know what data stays when you stop and what data
Well,
doesn't.
ephemeral means that it dies, right?
Yeah, it does, yeah. But the whole point is, it's kind of like iffy on AWS. Like, I've heard things where like you can use AWS instances and you shut them down and you bring them back up and you still have your data. The key terminology you have to remember is like shutting down or stopping is not the same as terminating an instance. But apparently there's some sort of data types that you can use, or data storage types that you can use, that say fuck it, it's gonna go bye-bye. The word ephemeral means short-lived, temporary. In English, blah, blah, blah. The virtual devices, for instance, store volumes are named as instance types to store one instance store volume have blah 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 blah. The data instance store persists only during the lifetime of its associated instance. If the instance reboots, data in the instance store persists. However, data in this store is lost under the following circumstances. What? If the instance reboots intentionally or unintentionally, data in this, okay, that's fine.
Like being terminated and
Two different things. You can.
it's not.
I can't hear you.
Oh.
Keep cutting out.
So when you stop an instance,
It's still there. You can. It's still
it's still there. You
provisioned.
can restart it.
Yeah,
and it keeps whatever.
it usually
I'm
does,
on
but not in the case of these ephemeral ones.
Yeah, because once they're turned off, they delete it.
Fuck all that. Next. My head's starting to hurt from all this reading and looking at the shit. I've been doing this since 9:30. Which of the following is the most suitable solution to properly monitor your database? Apparently, I don't have to create scripts. I enable enhanced monitoring RDS.
Yeah.
Amazon RDS
Use
provides
fields.
metrics in real time for the operating system that your DB instance runs on. You can view the metrics of your DB. Okay, so what did I get tripped
Added
up
in
on?
memory allocation.
The application is heavily using RDS, blah, 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 to maintain reliability, availability, and performance of the system. You have to closely monitor how the different processes or threads on the DB instance use the CPU. So when I read that you have to monitor closely different processes or threads on the instance that the DB's on, I said to myself, there's no way AWS is fucking like providing you that kind of functionality where they're down to a thread level, right? So I'm like, you gotta write a script.
But it does.
And now they're saying provides
Enhanced,
metrics, so DB instances, you
'cause
can
normal
view the
monitoring
metrics, console consume, enhanced monitoring JSON output. By default, enhanced monitoring metrics are stored in the CloudWatch for their days to modified amount of time. I don't care about that. Take note that there are certain differences between CloudWatch and enhanced monitoring metrics. CloudWatch gathers metrics about CPU utilization from the hypervisor for the DB instance, and enhanced monitoring gathers its metrics from an agent on the instance. So if you enable enhanced, it puts an agent on the box. As a result, you might find differences between measurements because, okay, whatever. Differences can be greater if your DB instances use smaller instance classes. Okay. Wow. Okie dokie. That's crazy. Enhanced monitoring metrics are useful when you want to see how different processes or threads on the DB instance. I'm gonna copy that right there into my fucking notes. Enhanced monitoring metrics. That's crazy. I'm a solutions architect. It says if I want to see the underlying resources, better control the underlying resources, I can't choose like these fully managed solutions. I have to do EMR or EC2. I knew that. Oh, what might cause this? Oh, and I got confused here. It says here, your instance was shut down over the weekend. When you arrive, you have all the data is lost. The EC2 instance was using instance store. Hence, data will be erased. All right, I gotta remember that. Instance store. Stop equals data erased. Let me take that up here into the EC2 section. Ephemeral or any instance store. Okay. I think I got both of the ELB questions right. The ALB and ELB question where if the instance health report is bad, it just stops sending traffic. It doesn't try to do anything else. Which is good to know. Which of the following will you need to consider so you can set up a solution that incorporates single sign-on, federation proxy, an IAM role, and policy to access a bucket? Whatever.
They're just gonna beat all of this into your head.
You received 5 orders, but after a few hours you saw more than 20. The web app is not deleting the messages from the queue. That was a question saying something like, you're supposed to say that your orders are done or whatever, and you only had 5 orders, but you got 20 messages. So stuff stayed on the queue for long enough for fucking 20 notifications. Anyway, moving on. Oh, these are questions I don't know anything about. Workload
But you answered them
management and the
correctly.
prayer because it sounded okay.
You probably looked us up. You probably looked it up. Some of these you probably look up and shit like that.
There's a requirement which you have to define the number of query queues that are available and how queries are routed. I just guessed this because like
I guess
I didn't like
you have to know what it does.
I didn't like this. This is not possible and this is not possible. And then I saw Lambda.
You don't ever say it's possible.
And I saw
possible.
everything's possible AWS. Create a Lambda function that can accept any number of query queues and use this. And I was like, it's either that or that. And I was like, this sounds like something that. And I don't know anything about this, so I'm going to choose this. That's what I did. When you create a parameter group, the default WLM configuration contains 1 queue, can run up to 5 queries concurrently. You can add additional queues. Wow, that's great. Not gonna remember that. I don't know how the fuck I got this. I was like, how are these different? After rereading them like 5 times, I realized this one says CloudWatch and this one says CloudTrail. CloudWatch is like application logs and CloudTrail is like user events. So this is really just trying to find out like what people have been doing. So it's user events.
Listen, everything's possible with AWS. It's always any type of
What the fuck is this?
enhanced VPC.
You are working as a solution architect for major blah, 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 database tiers, type managed, data flow. One of the requirements is to use a VPC flow logs to monitor all your copy and unload traffic of your Redshift cluster that moves in and out of your VPC. Enable enhanced VPC routing on your Amazon Redshift cluster. Create a new flow log. I thought it was everything about this log. When you use Amazon Redshift enhanced VPC routing, Amazon Redshift forces all copy and load traffic between your cluster and your data repositories through your Amazon VPC by using. You can use standard VPC features such as security groups, network, blah 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 blah. Yeah, this is
Ooh la la.
This is something, all right. I'm just gonna copy and paste this, even though I'm never gonna see this question in the real exam. If you enable advanced VPC routing, it's gonna let all this traffic go through your VPC, and because you have VPC flow logs on, you're gonna be able to see that shit. When you use enhanced VPC routing to route traffic through your VPC, you can use VPC flow logs to monitor copy and download traffic. All right, if it's not enabled, Amazon Redshift routes traffic through the internet, and you don't see that traffic. Okay.
Ay caramba.
I'll leave that big one. Oh, fuck me. What a dumb thing. Currently, the system stores file documents. Wow, so now I'm just going to use EFS. Amazon EFS provides simple, scalable, elastic file storage when mounted on a...
You gotta use the Amazon shit.
Where is it saying that option 1 is incorrect?
It doesn't even say that. It just says in this particular scenario, Stas.
In this scenario, there's a fleet of on-demand EC2 instances that store file documents from users to one of the attached EBS volumes. The system performance is quite slow because architecture doesn't provide the EC2 instances a parallel shared access to the file documents. Remember that EBS volume can be attached to one EC2 instance at a time. Hence, no other EC2 instance can connect to the EBS provision ops, whatever. Take note, as well. Okay, that's why you shouldn't upgrade to the better one. That we need file storage, which means S3 option is not the best service to use because it's mainly for object storage. It doesn't stop people. And S3 does not provide the notion of folders too. This is why option 2 is the correct answer. Alright, whatever. EFS. What? How did I get this wrong, man? God. What does this say? Which service will allow you to monitor all API calls to your Redshift service and include provide secure data? Oh, I should have said CloudTrail. I don't know why. I thought this was talking about like really low level like how long it took for something to happen, and I know that's what X-Ray does. Which was option 3 is incorrect because X-Ray is not a suitable service to use to track each API call to your AWS resource. It helps you debug and analyze your microservices application or request tracing so you can find the root cause of issues for performance. All right. I believe you. Correct? What did I get correct? Yeah. I don't want to get into this one. This one's a big one. I just don't think there's something like, yeah.
You probably spent a lot of time on this one.
So I know a little bit about DynamoDB streams and how AWS Lambda can listen to a DynamoDB stream. It basically says anytime you add stuff to a table or something gets done, it sends something to something called a DynamoDB stream. You can read off of that rather than monitoring or polling the database over and over. And then when AWS Lambda sees that thing happen on the stream, it can handle it. And so this is saying like allowing you to like say, oh, somebody of this user did something. It wants you to be able to like, there's a requirement to implement a follow feature where users can subscribe to certain updates. So now like when it sees that this person has done something, it can put it on my person's topic or whatever. And then whoever subscribed to that topic of me, because they're following me, they'll get whatever the changes were that I did or whatever I did. Oh, you can associate stream. I know about this. Incorrect because though is a valid solution is missing a vital step, which is enable DynamoDB streams. Using the Kinesis library, write an application that leverages DynamoDB streams that will fetch the data from DynamoDB streams endpoint. How kind of question is that? I know you can't just invalidate saying, "Oh, you got to enable DynamoDB streams."
But that's how it's correct. It's missing that step. It's vital.
No, it's the reason I chose that this is incorrect is because this is more of a coder thing. You got to sit down. You got to write an app that uses a SDK of the Kinesis client library to then talk to Kinesis and do stuff, right? So that's why I said this is wrong. I didn't say it's wrong because it doesn't say that you have to enable DynamoDB streams. Like, come on.
Maybe Benjamin Black wouldn't even believe in me.
With the DynamoDB streams Kinesis adapter in place, you can begin developing applications with the interface. Whatever. Option 2 is incorrect because just like option 1, you have to manually enable the streams. Option 3 is incorrect because DynamoDB accelerator feature. I know. Okay, whatever. What is this? Which of the following most suitable solution in a scenario where you can implement with minimal effort? This was database credentials should be ECS. I was so certain it was this. Use AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store. This sounded so wrong. Explanation. Amazon ECS enables you to inject sensitive data into your containers by storing your sensitive data in either AWS Secrets Manager Secrets or AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store. Why can't I use number 1 then? Option 1 is incorrect because although you can use Docker Secrets to secure the sensitive database credentials, the features only... I knew it was Docker Swarm. I knew it was only Docker Swarm. It's my lack of understanding then that Docker is not Docker Swarm. It just says you have a you're using. I don't know how to explain this. ECS is a Docker solution container, Elastic Container Service. It uses Docker. Fargate is basically ECS, but you don't have to fucking do. It just does things easier for you. It's some dumb shit. I'm being tricked right now, man. Option 1's incorrect because Docker secret. I didn't know we didn't have Docker secrets in there. I don't have enough experience with ECS to not know that we don't have Docker secrets. That's all. But that's good to know. Now I'm gonna remember, or I'm gonna pretend like I remember. AWS ECS / Fargate does not have Docker secrets because it's not Docker Swarm. Use AWS Systems Manager parameter store for credential storing. Use AWS Systems Manager param store or Secrets Manager. But why did they not let you use Secrets Manager? Which is number 2. Number 3. This is incorrect because although it uses Secrets Manager and securing sensitive data, ECS is valid. Using IAM role is a more suitable choice over resource-based policy. But param store is greater than Secrets Manager because IAM roles is better than resource policies. There we go. Correct. Enable throttling. All right, cool. How do you make it better? Enable throttling. You're working blah blah method. Quickly deny access. Knackles. What is this? Which of the following most suitable solution to implement? To ensure high availability in my systems, I'm required to monitor the memory and disk utilization. I keep forgetting. This is what I didn't know, that you can't look into your memory. Install CloudWatch agent on all your EC2 instances, which gathers the memory and disk utilization. What does my little list say? Memory utilization, custom metric.
Don't tell him.
CloudWatch has available metrics, blah, 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 but you need to code stuff for this, or yeah, whatever. What did I say here? You're working on a software company that's moved this legacy application. Okay, so they have a hard-coded IP address. Which steps would you take to apply high availability and fault tolerance to this application without an ELB? Oh no, this is something else. Which blocks you from using an application load balancer. Okay, whatever. Write script that checks the health of EC2 instances. If the instance stops responding, the script will switch the elastic IP address to the standby EC2. I don't know, dude. Why?
You're getting to the questions where I joined.
My head hurts. I can't even read this. My head doesn't hurt, and just like I'm getting tired of reading this and trying to understand.
It continues tomorrow, man.
I know there's no continuing. That's not how it works.
I mean, you can go over it tomorrow again.
No, it's not happening.
Tonight on a fresh head.
No.
You only look at this once.
No, I'm looking at this one time. Why these questions are gonna get asked multiple times?
Yeah, you just beat it into your head. I get it.
You were working for a software company that's moved. I got stuck on this because they're saying there's a static IP address that's hard coded into the back end of the application, so I can't use an ALB. I know what ALBs do. I'm so disgusted right now. Which steps should you take to apply high availability and fault tolerance to this application? When I think of application, I mean like, I don't expect them to take the fucking thing and turn it into a whole AWS like solution of products. I was thinking they're going to take their application and just drop it in an EC2 instance. But anyway, they're saying write a script that checks the health of the EC2 instance. If the instance stops responding, the script will switch to elastic IP. I don't give a fuck. And assign elastic IP. I don't know, man. So to create a standby EC2 instance too. Okay. So you have a real instance. And then if it fails, alright, whatever. Custom script enables EC2 instance to monitor another EC2 instance and take over private virtual IP address on instance failure. Incorrect, because you don't have to postpone your deployment, as you have an option to set up self-monitoring EC2 instance.
EC2 instance status check.
All right, I just learned something very important. I always thought elastic IPs were bad because they were not static, that they're dynamic, they could be anything. But the real truth is they're bad to me. I learned that they're bad because they're public IPs, which means that anyone from the internet can hit them, which is why one of the answers in a previous exam was like, how do you make this EC2 instance available to the public? Was like, assign it you can't hit it. What might be the cause? You didn't assign an elastic IP. So I gotta remember that elastic IPs aren't bad because they're not static. They're bad in my case because they're public, and we don't want things to be public unless sometimes you do. They're perfectly fine as something that hosts a static IP address. They're not dynamic. And you gotta remember that. Elastic IP is a static IP address. Public accessible. Option 5 is incorrect because all the option is feasible. The goal of the company is to move the application to the cloud and not continue using on-premise resources. I did not understand what they wanted here. So now I understand they're just trying to set up the most ghettoest fucking way of setting up an application in AWS. Run one instance, but technically you're running two instances, and you're routing traffic to elastic IP, and there's a script somewhere running that if this instance, I don't know, if one of the instances fails, it updates the elastic IP to use this instance. I don't know, something stupid. Write a script that checks the health of the EC2 instance. If this instance stops responding, the script will switch the elastic IP address to standby. That's very, I never heard of anyone propose a solution like this. All right, whatever.
Getting used to.
Whatever. It's using CloudFront. Oh, the cookie answer was right.
That's why I came in. Yeah.
You sign cookies for the following case. You want to provide access to multiple restricted files, for example, all the files. We're actually doing this, but we're doing cookies. We're using cookies to access different types of data in our DynamoDB. Like, we're saying you have access to this type of data, you have access to this type of data, you can do this to DynamoDB, you can't do this to DynamoDB, like reading and writing and stuff. Correct, the volume cookies is normal. Okay, that's good to know. When you're taking a snapshot, it doesn't do shit. But the status snapshot is pending. Well, whatever. Not gonna keep reading about that. This was something about wanting to be where? Whatever. I forgot what the question was. It was just some stupid question about how you want it to be faster when you just say elastic cache. You're designing multi-tier web app. Oracle. The Oracle thing. What? It is required that the data is highly available and that you have control over its underlying operating system. What the fuck? I don't remember this question. You're designing a multi-tier web application architecture that consists of a fleet of EC2 instances and an Oracle relational database server. It is required that the database is highly available and you have full control over its underlying operating system. And I chose Amazon EC2 instances with data replication between two different availability zones. Because why? I don't fucking know. I couldn't use RDS. What? To achieve this requirement, you can deploy your Oracle database to Amazon EC2 instances with data replication between the two. Hence, option 4 is the correct answer. The deployment, blah, blah, blah. The quick start deploy, blah, blah, blah. Options 1 and 2 are incorrect because the scenario requires you to have access to underlying Okay, that's why. I need underlying operating system, so I need EC2. But I can't have one zone. Man, I just like, my brain's falling apart. I didn't even catch that. Like, I need to know when I'm taking this exam what the best time of day for me to take this exam is. If it's saying I need underlying operating system, I completely skipped over that. What will happen when the EC2 instance failed the health check? Exactly what I want. Oldest launch configuration, that's what I'm talking about. I don't care about this cheat sheet. Provision IOPS, ooh. General purpose. Which of the following is most suitable EBS type? Expected that the database will have high throughput workloads performing small random IO ops. Random. Okay. On a given volume config, certain IO characteristics drive the performance behavior of your volume, SSD backend volume, such as general purpose GP2 and provision IOPS IO1 deliver consistent performance whether an IO operation is random or sequential. That's not even what I thought that meant. Oh my gosh. HD backed volumes like throughput optimized HD, ST1, and cold HD, ST1 deliver optimal performance. This is some high level shit. SSD good for small and random. HDD is good for large and sequential. I'm gonna fucking write that down too. SSD small random, right? Operate IO. HDD large sequential IO. Configure S3 bucket to remove public read access and use pre-signed URLs and expiry dates. What was this one? You found out other people? Yeah, this was obvious. Oh lordy. The answer to the one about the Forex guys that want to go to AWS or something with their Oracle, the one answer that said migrate Oracle using Amazon Aurora was wrong. Create an Amazon create an Oracle database in RDS with multi-AZ deployments.
Didn't I say something about that?
Yeah, I don't know what you said.
I said RDS multi-AZ.
Because although the solution is feasible, it takes time to migrate your Oracle database to Aurora, which is not acceptable based on this option.
You showed me RDS and like look at all those.
Is not an Aurora database does not have read replica, and based on this option, the Aurora database does not have a read replica. Is not configured as an Amazon Aurora DB cluster, which could have improved the availability of the database. I thought that's just what you get. Migrate global converting the database using and whatever. Fuck it. I'll remember. It needs to happen fast. Oh my god. Urgently needs to migrate their infrastructure to AWS. Urgently is the key word. Create an Oracle database RDS with multi-AZ deployments. Incorrect because Oracle, RMAN, and RAC are not supported. You chose this one, asshole. You chose launch an Oracle database instance RDS with the recovery manager. And now they're saying...
I said 1 or 3. I said 1 or 3.
1 and 2 are incorrect because Oracle, RMAN, RAC are not supported in RDS. Okay. Well, whatever. I don't know nothing about Oracle. Next. Amazon MQ is right. MQ, SQS, and SNS are messaging services that are suitable for anyone from startups to enterprises. If you're using messaging with existing applications and want to move your messaging service to the cloud quickly, easily, is recommended you consider MQ. Supports industry standard APIs and protocols, so you can switch from any blah, 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 blah. If you're building brand new apps, I highly recommend it. Use throttling on the API gateway was correct. Create a new custom endpoint in Aurora that will load balance, blah, 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 configure the applications for production and the reporting queries. That was correct too. So Aurora clusters, Aurora, let me read the explanation. As Aurora typically involves a cluster of DB instances instead of a single instance. Each connection is handled by a specific DB instance. When you connect to Aurora cluster, the hostname and port that you specify point to an intermediate handler called the endpoint. Okay. So Aurora maintains something, a cluster and endpoints, and then you can configure endpoints. For certain Aurora tasks, different instances or groups of instances perform different roles. For example, the primary instance handles all data definition language, data manipulation language statements up to 15. Handle read-only query. Using endpoints, you can map each connection to the appropriate instance. That's really powerful. That's really powerful ability. This Amazon Aurora shit is a very robust tool. Being able to fucking handle all this, manage all this. You're a solutions architect in your company working with 3 DevOps engineers under you. One of the engineers accidentally deleted shit. Let me guess. Same answer always. There are a lot of outages in the availability zone for your RDS instance to the point that you have lost the database. What could you do to prevent losing your database? Fuck snapshots, fuck the database instance size, and maybe a read replica? I don't know. Why is 4 wrong? Option 4 is incorrect because read replicas provide enhanced performance for read heavy. Although you can promote a read replica, its asynchronous replication might not provide you the latest version of your database. Okay. Oh, whatever. Ooh. What did I do this wrong again? Okay. Options 2 and 4 are correct answers. You can store session state data on both DynamoDB and Elasticache. The AWS services provide high performance storage of key value pairs, which can be used to build highly available web app. Whatever. Option 1 is incorrect since Redshift Spectrum is, I know. Option 3 is incorrect as well since RDS is a relational database solution at AWS. This relational storage type might not be the best fit for session states. It might not provide the performance you need compared to. It's still possible. Does it say choose the best 3? This scenario is suitable. I'm so confused. So it's not that RDS is wrong, it's just not better than DynamoDB. Alright. Pissed, man. Which of the following options should you use together to set up cost-effective solution that can improve your application's performance? This one was crazy. The 504 error one. Can't log in. Customize the content from the CloudFront web distribution delivers using Lambda Edge. Okay. And then set up origin failover by creating origin group with 2 origins. That's a high level question.
That is a high level question.
This one's rough. I don't even want to read it. I should read it. I have the ability to let you run Lambda functions to customize the content the CloudFront delivers. Executing the function in the AWS locations closer to the viewer. The function run in response to CloudFront events. Without provisioning or managing servers, you can use Lambda functions to change CloudFront requests and responses at the following points. After CloudFront receives, I don't care about that. In the given scenario, you can use Lambda Edge to allow your Lambda functions to customize the content. I just read that. And to execute the authentication process in AWS locations closer to users. In addition, you can set up origin failover by creating an origin group with 2 origins, with one as a primary origin, other as a second origin, which CloudFront automatically switches to when the primary origin fails. This will alleviate occasional 504 bad gateway errors. that user is experiencing. Therefore, the correct answers are 1 and 5. Oh lordy. You have a new joiner in the organization. New joiner. You have a provision IAM user for the new employee in AWS. However, user is not able. It says the default is they have no permissions, Dimitri. No permissions when you create a user.
So we got it. That's what you said.
I guessed it. Your company announced that there would be a surprise IT audit on all AWS resources. Reserved instances doesn't get interrupted on like spot instances. Oh, we got this right. The reserved instances thing. And I want to hear it that says that like any duration, option 2. Option 2 is incorrect because you can reserve capacity in the region. Blah, blah, blah. You cannot reserve capacity in multiple I don't want to fucking read that.
Look at all the ones we got right, man. That's good.
Right. Ooh. Dimitri.
Didn't you like actually like point those out and say that's not it and explain why it's not it? The AWS KMS and API.
I chose that one first, but then I said that doesn't do encryption for you. That just gives you the key that you can then do encryption with yourself. Okay. Is a managed service that makes it easier for you to create and control the encryption keys used to encrypt your data. The master keys that you create AWS KMS are protected by some bullshit. AWS KMS is integrated in most other AWS services that encrypt your data with encryption keys that you manage. AWS KMS is also integrated with CloudTrail. That's the freaking thing. That's it, man. Wait up. Due to complicated data security requires application hosting. No, it's not. With CloudTrail to provide encryption key usage logs to help meet your auditing and regulatory. In this scenario, you can configure your application and use KMS API to encrypt all the data before saving this. Heads option 4. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. This is telling me, oh, I could use it to get a key.
That's what she said.
Where is it being stored? Hosted EC2 before it's written to disk for storage. Alright, why is option 2 wrong then? Option 2 is incorrect because although EBS encryption provides additional security for EBS volumes, the application cannot use this service to encrypt or decrypt each individual data that it writes to disk. It is better to use the KMS API instead to automatically encrypt the data before saving it to disk. Oh my god.
I see that.
No, I don't see that. I don't understand. You are working in a solutions architect for government project in which they are building an online portal to allow people to pay their taxes and claim their tax refunds due to confidentiality of data. Security policy requires that the application hosted in the EC2 encrypts the data first before writing the disk. I don't know, dude. I don't like that answer, but okay, whatever. You're working as a solution architect. This is the zone one. What are the trade-offs? Storing data. Okay, why is the last one not a trade-off? You like that song?
I think I was watching a Scuff podcast, and that's why I heard it. Don't even know what it's called.
This one doesn't tell me why my answer was wrong. I want to read it, but fuck it. Amazon S3 One Zone IA is an S3 storage class for data access less frequently, but requires rapid access when needed. Unlike other storage classes, which store in a minimum of 3 zones, store data in 1. Because of this, storing data in 1 costs 20% less than storing in standard IA. S3 One Zone IA is ideal for customers who want lower cost option for infrequently accessed data but do not require the availability and resilience of S3 standard. It's a good choice, for example, for storing secondary. The One Zone IA offers the same high durability, high throughput, and low latency Amazon S3 standard, blah, 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 blah. Key features. Remember that since one's on I stored there. This doesn't tell me anything. I don't know how we got this one wrong.
Wait,
What will you tell your manager about the?
but we got one of them right.
Yeah, I mean, I had this selected, but we're like, this is not a trade-off. We're like, storing data in S3 Zone 1 costs less than storing in S3 standard. This I don't know. I might get points for this, even if I got it wrong. Like, probably on the exam. Offers lower durability. It does not offer lower durability. That's what I gotta remember. Durability is not the same as availability. That's what they're saying here. They're saying that Zone 1A offers the same high durability, high throughput, whatever durability means. I don't know what it means in the context right now of file storage, but it probably means like, will the files get corrupt? You know? So it probably that was probably wrong. To durability is the thing that I should have known about. It has, I'm gonna write that down. Offer same blah blah blah. I'm gonna write that down. Same high durability. Durability caps. 63, correct. Use the partition keys. Alright, cool. 64.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know how we got this. Authenticate users with Redis off.
I was repping this one, man. Remember?
I don't know how you got this one.
Cause I use my brain. I don't know. I got it. I mean, no, but like, think about it.
It's just, no, I can't say think about it. I don't know Redis enough to know that it has something called the auth command.
I just assumed that it did have the auth command, and the auth command pretty much is just authentication, right? So I just like, that's what I.
Hi. Soon? I don't know.
You're on the last question.
Sandra, good night. I love you. I'll be in bed. No. Oh my god. Alright, come over here. Love you too.
Come to bed soon.
Yes. Alright. Go. Yeah, go. Thank you. Oh, I already finished this exam like over an hour ago. Just reviewing it. Yeah. Alright, good night. Using Redis auth command can improve data security by requiring the user to enter a password before they are granted permission to execute Redis commands on a password protected Redis server. However, option 3 is the correct answer. What? However, option 3 is the correct answer. Why do you even say that then? To require that users enter a password on a password protected Redis server, include the parameter auth token. Require that user enter password on a password protected Redis server, include the parameter with the correct password when you create your replication group or cluster, and on all subsequent commands to the replication group and cluster. Holy Jesus Christ. Option 1 is incorrect because it's not possible in IAM. You have to use Redis auth option instead. Use Redis off when trying to secure Redis. Can't use IAM. Boom.
Redis.
It says anytime I need to require people to enter a password before they're granted permission. Authenticate users use Redis auth by creating a new Redis cluster with both enabled and okay. So what the fuck does the portal do? The password is the Redis auth token. Shield. $66. $66, man. How do I get back to